Bait. Let's go. Alright, so that's running. It should be showing now. Boop. Boop. If you can't see it, here's a link. I'll send in, see, copy image address. I'll bop it into here. You can, in Roll20, oh, whoops. Did that come through?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you click that, that's an example of their isometric maps that they have. They do really cool stuff. So it's kind of sketchy and fun, and
those are cool.
So we might have some maps like that at some point, but for now I'm just kind of sticking with what they have in there. For fixing this stuff with people being able to see, let's do. It's supposed to be based on who can control it, so I'll just make it so everyone can be edited and controlled by everyone. All players, please.
So I can move Steve around the board?
Yep. So if Steve steps on top of your token, you can mess with him. Save changes. Roland. Edit. All players, just because, yeah, it'll just be easier that way. Otherwise I have to go through every page and pick people up and set people down. Can you verify that you can move each other's tokens? Right now I've just got Aurora, Tiger Lily, Roland, and possibly Clandon.
Can I even move mine?
I can move everyone but Infina.
Okay, give me a second. All players, save changes. Okay, can you move Infina now?
It might have been just because I was moving mine already.
Oh, you might have been moving it already.
I can't move Clandon.
Oh, now you see everybody's name now.
Cool. And you see do you see their health bar at the top?
I can't move Clandon or see his health bar.
Okay, let's see. Clandon.
Yeah, I don't see
Edit.
Clandon's name, so I'm assuming that's...
Still not that one. Okay, Clandon, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see the health bars?
Yes, and I moved him.
Okay, perfect. And Kilsiver, can you see Kilsiver's? He's up here.
He's not even...
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Alright, so if you guys can see everything, Shield Guardian, that's the other one. Edit.
Oh, Kilsiver's like in the city.
All players, yeah, he's inside of the thing. Save changes. Okay, cool. Alright, I think we're good now. I guess for that kind of gives you the recap. I changed some of the tokens around just to make it easier. They are a little bit bigger than the grid that we have here, just by a little bit, but like I said, we can just kind of fudge it and just know that if you hold Alt when you click and drag and drop, you can move your base to be exactly on the square if you want to be.
What do you do on Mac?
Perfect. On Mac, this is going to be Alt, so it's going to be Option.
Okay.
Did you mention that where you roll for initiative now?
Oh yes, that's right. I did not. So let me go ahead and I'm going to clear the initiative.
There shouldn't be anything there.
And so basically what you do, go ahead and click on your tokens. And on your tokens up at the top, you should have the Roll for Initiative button again.
Nope.
It does, oh, yeah, you're right. I mentioned last, so let me get it open. I have to give you the... Let me pull this off.
Do we have to update our health in our sheet?
Hangouts.
My turn order thing still isn't up.
So on the left side, do you see in that bar where you have like your select move, the ruler and that kind of stuff? Do you see a clock icon?
No.
Let me see if we can.
There's a paintbrush, magnifying glass, the ruler, and the dice, and a question.
So there's no turn order.
Yeah, I don't have one either.
Maybe until you roll for initiative, maybe that's why it doesn't do it.
Mine just disappeared.
What disappeared?
I had the turn order option now, it just went away.
Oh, I closed it on my screen, so I don't know why it doesn't show for everyone else, but it shows for you. Somehow that's...
I have the turn order screen too, but it just disappeared.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, turn order screen. I'm going to... Okay. That's not working. I'm gonna repost it in the... If you want to open up your Hangouts real quick, I'm gonna repost it in there. So that thing I just sent you is called the macro for roll 20. And what you're going to need to do in order to add this into your roll 20, in order to see it up there on the top, you're going to have to go. I guess just let me know if I'm going too fast. But if you want to go to the cog, or not the cog icon, the which one is it? Was it collection? Yes. So next to the cog icon on the right hand side in roll 20, there's 3 dots and 3 lines after it. That's a macro page. It's called collection. Tell me if you guys see that.
Yep.
And then in there, do you show anything in that list? Is it just blank? Does it say just
It's blank.
Okay, so down at the bottom, do you see a checkbox that says show macro quick bar?
Yes.
Yep.
Check that box. And then what you're going to do is on the macros up at the very top, there's the add button. Hit the add button. And what you're going to do is give it a name, and I would just call it like initiative. And then in the actions box, paste that whole /em all the way to the end where it says for initiative, ! And then at the very bottom, there's a checkbox before you hit save changes that says show as token action. Check that box as well. So what this will do is it will whenever you select your token, it'll show up at the top. If you prefer to see it all the time and not necessarily just on a token, you can put it at the bottom, but you still have to select your token. You still have to select the token in order for it to function correctly, because the way that this macro is written is it requires a token. Does that make sense?
I wasn't out of order.
You what?
Where is it that you go to the cog and then what do you go to?
So not on the cog, next to it. There's 3 dots.
3 dotties.
3 dots and 3 lines. Hit the add button up at the top, and then give the name initiative, paste in actions, check the box that says show as token action, and then when you hit save, after that, whenever you select a token, you should be able to roll for initiative. And since you can all control each other's stuff, in the event that, for instance, Becca, if you have to run out and get after the kids or something, then anyone else can click on that token and hit the roll for initiative button. It should work.
Do we include in your little text, it says for initiative ! At the end? Mm-hmm. Is that part of the macro?
Yes, part of the macro. So if you notice down at the bottom, when Clandon rolled it, it showed Clandon's name because that's the token that he selected. Rolls a 21 for initiative. So that for initiative is just part of the message that puts in there. You can customize it however you want. You can say like, Benfino lets out a great battle cry and rolls for initiative, or whatever you want. You can. It's just a macro. Does that make sense? So if everybody has that in there if you want to test it, Aurora and Benfina, once you get it, test it on Tiger Lily and Videx as well.
It still doesn't pull up the turn order box.
Okay, what about now?
Yes.
Does it show up for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, Benfina has it. Do you have it, Aurora?
Yes.
Okay, and if I close it, does it go away?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Alright, so that's the common thread, I guess. And if you close it, I guess it won't reopen until I close and reopen on my end.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, so it looks like the rolling for initiative is working now. So that was the other part that I had to refigure out how to do, because for whatever reason I thought that I could create one and let it be global, but that doesn't seem to be the case. All right, so
you manually added in for Roland and Hilsiver?
No, it's an account bound thing.
Oh, so they'll have to do it.
They have to do it themselves, yes. So okay, so now that we got that out of the way, I think I want to say those were the big things. I had gone through and done a lot of fixes, some rolling tables and some other stuff. This is some of the stuff that was for me as a DM, so that way when we're doing stuff I don't have to remember as much. And yeah, because it's just a pain with some of the stuff that they have going on in this module. Okay, so as you guys recall, last time you guys had gone through your first gauntlet of puzzles at the Crocodile and Man statue here in the jungles of Chult. After having gone through this and found an alchemical jug that has magical properties about it, and stepping outside, you had been ambushed by some of the nearby denizens. The rain, having recently washed some of the topsoil into the river and carrying away some of this extra mud, had given way to some of the undead that were buried underneath. It also attracted a few of the Batiri goblins that were that seemed to have been attracted by Vorn's presence, and their anger and agitation from having their god, quote unquote, abandon them and what have you. And so you guys fought, and in the midst of all of this, the blood and carnage further it attracted a nearby Allosaurus, which came in and fought heartily against this Vorn, the Shield Guardian, and the rest of the team. You guys were able to dispatch it without much incident and make your way back to Camp Vengeance. And upon entering back into Camp Vengeance, you see a couple of the guards on the guard tower. They recognize those of you who are there. They aren't startled by your sudden token changes, and they welcome you guys back into the Camp Vengeance itself. And upon entering back into they still kind of keep their decorum of the Shield Guardian is not allowed within the fort itself, just for space and whatever constraints. But the rest of you are able to enter without incident. You see before you the tent flaps, and it is still currently raining. The boats themselves, as you guys have been moving around, getting back here, you guys had to bucket a lot of the water out of the boat itself because it was raining so hard that it was nearly capsizing your boats or scuttling the boats into the water. You had to fight off a couple of different sturges and other things that were causing issues along the way back. But as the oiled canvas of this tent flap swings open and some of the rain comes out, you see the familiar face of Niles Breakbone. He comes out very kind of hard-nosed and expectant, seeing kind of you guys return with Flint's presence. Because Flint's there too, but because there's no plot holes here, never. And so he looks out and he says to each of you, he says, "Ah, so you survived."
Oh wait, I'm not a troll.
You're not a troll.
Well, alright. Dwarf.
A dwarf.
Not a troll.
Yeah, we made it back. It was rough, but here we are.
Well, I'm glad to see that you have each made your way. And what news do you have of Camp Righteous?
It wasn't worth it.
It's dangerous. We cleared out in the area, but it's not well fortified at the moment. Up here.
Make me a persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Mm-hmm. You're going to see how much tact is in a part of this conversation.
Sorry, I had this ready.
Oh, you're okay.
We haven't had any resting since our encounter with the people.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not rested yet. Persuasion is 6. Okay, so he looks. He at the mention he receives. You see on his face that he receives this news relatively well, and then the mention of it being not well fortified. You can see that annoys him.
Because
a little bit
being said, or because
mostly just because it's like it's one of those ones where it's a sign of his failings as a leader, and he doesn't outwardly become like angry or anything, but you definitely can tell just kind of through the looks on his face that he's a little more guarded at this point. Well, I'm glad that that you were able to dispatch the riffraff and other things in that area. And what of the temple? Did you find its secrets and what have you learned?
We got an urn. No.
Oh yeah, didn't we get the urn?
It wasn't technically an urn.
The alchemist jug.
We got the jug.
Yeah, we found this here jug. And a lot of traps. I wouldn't recommend going in the temple. It's pretty dangerous.
No, that is.
The risk and the reward were not equal.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. We were hoping to learn more about some of the stuff, and perhaps more about the gods themselves that ruled in this area at some point, and that we might be able to make a more forward and pointed attack against these undead that plague this area. But it's from the sounds of it, there was little gained in this endeavor.
Yeah, except that if you want to go in the temple, make sure you carry somebody on your back.
Okay. So he kind of, looking at him, just kind of puzzled look on his face, and it's all that sounds preposterous. I don't know. That's
something to do with the dude that carried the alligator.
And at this point, you feel kind of Mushrib's elbow in your side, and you hear him kind of whisper to you, and I thought you weren't listening when I was talking.
Oh, he's listening.
All right, and so Mushrib will remember this.
Oh snap!
Oh,
Just kidding. What?
Are you not in love with these blueberries?
Oh, pretty good.
Oh my gosh!
Remember everything for me.
They taste like grapes, honestly.
Oh, those are good blueberries.
So at this point, he kind of says, "Well, while you were gone and while you're out and doing this, we've had a few more issues with some of the undead and other denizens of this area. A few of these attacks that have happened throughout the day. But overall, I think that everyone is better for having you had come, and I appreciate your assistance in this endeavor. But I must ask, now that we've completed our task, I've got many things to attend to. Should you need a place to stay, you're welcome to stay here, but being with provisions being as low as they are, I would ask that you limit your stay as much as possible and be on your way as you see fit."
No problem. We'll be leaving shortly. We'll figure out whether we're going to leave today or tomorrow, but get out of your hair. We need to start heading back.
Well, that works. And I had a courier come from a certain one of the princes at the Port Nanzaru. They mentioned that they had found some information for you. So he wasn't really keen on what that was, and I found it perplexing that one of the princes would send a something of this import to here and how they knew you were here, but I've delivered my message, and that is all. And so then at this point he kind of dismissively bows his head and then goes back into his tent, closes the flap behind him.
He's got a tracker on us. Just kidding.
So you guys, looking around the camp, you do see that most of the people, they seem grateful, especially the ones that you guys had healed. And there's with the rain here, there's still some of the issues of the water pooling up and other things. But from your guys' previous work, that this camp is at least livable. It's not as squalid, and people aren't just kind of walking around like undead on their own feet. But they seem like they have a little more spring in their step. And you're able to the same quarters that you guys had previously had were available to you. Should you like to take a long rest or do any discussions, any crafting, any of that kind of stuff, you're welcome to do.
What time is it at this point?
So at this point, I believe after all the fighting, it was waning probably until looking about 5 or 6 in the evening. So it's starting to become dusk. The sun's hanging low. Some people are starting to pull out pans and other things to try and cook around the fires. You what?
So the sun's getting low.
The sun's getting real low, big guy.
Ooh, it's dinner time?
Yep. So it's about dinner time. From as you guys had come into the camp.
Supper time.
Think they got some extra for us.
Didn't we kill stuff while we were out?
What do
Didn't
you
you kill stuff, Landon?
Didn't you get some of that dinosaur meat?
Yeah,
I believe you did.
Oh. What's that? I guess that's edible.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
It'll go rancid if you leave it out too long, but yeah.
Well, we should cook this dinosaur.
All right. You're gonna. So you wanna try and cook the dinosaur? Are you cooking it, or are you going to attempt to get someone else to cook it?
I don't believe I am much of a chef in this
Okay.
journey.
So who would
But
like
I would
to try?
like to skin the beast and retain
I'll try.
my skin.
Okay. So go ahead and put for Benfina, do a survival check for me, and Aurora also make a survival check for me. Oh, Benfina's going to try and get some of the skin. Yep, you're able to get probably a yard by yard type size when you had actually done it. And then Aurora, you're able to cook it. This meat is very tough. It's very this is like dark meat. This is like red dark carnivorous meat, and you're not quite used to cooking it as much, but you are able to find some spices and some other stuff to make it come through. But it is very gamey. It's like the meat itself is just it's like eating a bear. Like there's very it's more of a tough meat. It's not a really tender meat, but you're able to make something that everyone is able to enjoy and eat, and the smell of the cooking outsourced. You get a couple of sideways glances from other people, seeing you pull out this haka meat from a giant lizard, but no one gives you any guff, and you guys are able to use that as your rations for the day. And go ahead and I don't think we've been doing water up to this point, but for everyone who has, if you don't have it already, put in your inventory some water rations, however much you want to carry. But the idea is that if you don't drink enough by the end of the day, you're going to end up becoming exhausted, because this is a very hot and humid area, etc. So yeah, so you guys are able to do that, and it's now pushing closer into 8 o'clock in the evening. The sun is barely peeking over the horizon. Darkness has set in. You start to hear the crickets chirping, large creatures shuffling in the woods, and just it's another night at Camp Vengeance.
Is there clean water now?
There's what?
Clean water.
They have clean water here. It's in short supply. There's a lot of water around.
We had set up a rain catcher with the
Correct. You can, and like during this rainstorm and other things, you do have those rain catchers if you want to refill your resources.
Well, let's fill up our jug we just got.
Fill up my jug. Mazel tov. Look at that dancing.
Who is in possession of said jug?
I don't recall. I think it was Clandon?
It might have been me. I didn't take note of it, but sure. Here you go.
You got it?
Oh, we have rations if we were concerned about food supplies, by the way.
Yes. You need to.
Yeah, I still have rations.
So because you had that whatever, the rations usually, so it's like, they're usually like mixed nuts, berries, jerky, basically travel food. Stuff that'll keep over long distances, and so you don't have to use rations because you guys are eating the dinosaur meat, but under normal circumstances, you'd be using your rations to eat.
What color is the skin of the Allosaurus I have?
The skin of the Allosaurus?
It is red for some reason.
Sure. It's red.
Okay.
It can be like a blood red with some kind of like muddy brown, kind of brickish red colors
And you
mix
said
in.
we have one ration of water?
You would have as much water as you are willing to carry.
What is the poundage on that?
Let me see. Double check here. Water, weird water elemental, shape elemental. Where'd it go? Some of you do have the ability to bless water. Specifically, I think, don't you, Benfina? And I know Roland does because he's a cleric.
No clue.
Bless the river.
I can purify food and drink.
So you could purify the water, and that would be fine.
I could,
But I'm trying to
but I
find-
can't. I got no spell slots. Actually, I do have spell slots. Ouch.
Water rations, 50. Oops, not 53. Alright, food and water. Character needs to drink 1 gallon of water per day, or 2 gallons of water per day if the weather is hot, which is where you guys are at. The character who drinks half that much water has to succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, or suffer 1 level of exhaustion at the end of the day. A character with access to even less water automatically suffers 1 level of exhaustion per day. If the character already has 1 or more level of exhaustions, character takes 2 levels in either case.
Good gracious.
Holy cow.
Food. A character needs 1 pound of food per day, and it can make food last longer by subsisting on half rations. Eating half a pound of food in a day counts as half of a day without food. Okay. A character can go without food for a number of days equal to 3 plus his or 2 Constitution modifier. At the end of the day beyond that limit, the character automatically suffers 1 level of exhaustion. A normal day of eating resets the count of days without food to 0. So that's just a heads up.
Okey-doke.
So that'll be 2 gallons of water is how much pounds? How much does 2 gallons of water weigh? That is 8.34 pounds. So that's for 1 gallon. So it'd be 16 pounds for 2 gallons of water. So, yeah. So that's that.
What was the name of the jug or urn that we got?
Alchemist's jug. So look for the alchemist jug.
And it can hold how much?
The alchemist jug is. Did you find it, Klein?
Max amount of 8 gallons of fresh water.
How much are these gourds of bug repellent? Are they similar weight, probably?
The gourds? No, they'd probably be lighter. They're smaller.
Okay.
It's kind of like more of a salve.
Just trying to estimate how much it is.
If you put it in your D&D Beyond, it'll tell you exact weights. It has all the stuff in there. So.
Okay, whatever.
So really, I mean, with the size of our party, we could almost be fine with just using this jug for our water supply.
It's true.
I can't hear anything. Is he saying something?
Yes.
Oh.
You couldn't hear it?
I said
Sorry,
all
what
I
was
heard
that?
was with the size of our party.
He said by the size of our party, you could subsist on the gallon or the 8 gallons in the alchemist jug,
Oh.
based on the size of the
Okay.
party.
Yeah, because there's not even 8 of us.
Does that include moose rib?
Yeah, there's
Nah.
not even 8 of us. Because we only need 1 gallon per day. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Well, I'm assuming in the weather right now that we would need 2 gallons a day, or no?
Yes. Yeah. Generally, when you're in the thick of the jungle, especially, it's very humid, very hot with all the trees. There's less wind, so you don't get as much. Sounds like Becca's disconnecting.
Network error. Please try again.
All right, so we'll need to carry a little bit, but you don't have to carry a ton.
Okay. So you can just basically have a canteen of water in addition to it, and a canteen. I don't know. Was that maybe half a gallon? Depending on how big the water skin is. So it's up to you if you want to carry a full gallon or just half a gallon, but that's something that I have not been tracking very much because I hate the mundaneness of food and water tracking, but
Yeah, things that keep us alive.
it's a mechanic that's a part of this game, so I have to, yeah, whatever.
All right.
Bring a little bit more fear of death into it. So, upon getting, I guess, some rest, you guys are able to, for that evening, you're able to sleep relatively well. But in the kind of the your dreams, each of you has, is able to sleep just fine. But Clandon, you feel in your dreams as you've been sleeping. Roland also has this where he needs to roll. I'll write that down. Where it's actually he has an issue with trying to get restful sleep, just because of just kind of this constant feeling of being drained and like being watched. But you, Clandon, specifically in your dream, you feel a very intense pressure of somebody watching you. At which point it does wake you up.
Did you pause my internet?
No.
I have no internet.
You have no internet? She got paused.
Yes, please.
I was just watching last and they went out.
That it was fun to go outside by themselves at 8 o'clock. So Becca is going to go and put a kibosh on that. Okay, let's quit Origin. Let's try and reduce the amount of crap that's messing with my streamy stuff. Alright. So you guys are able to see. Clandon, you feel an intense pressure of somebody watching you. The rest of you all are able to get a long rest. This is close in the very early hours of the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But you do feel this intense pressure of somebody watching you. And upon kind of opening your eyes, you see above you a very kind of like a dark hooded figure looking down from the head of your bed, looking down, staring you in the face. You see nothing in this visage, but the glint of just eyes that are looking piercingly at your face. So it's kind of like upside down. You're seeing this.
Who are you?
Who I am is not of your concern. I have come here. I'm looking for Aurora, and I've been told that she has been in your company.
Maybe. Who's asking that confidential information?
Well, I have been sent by my lady's parents. I've been hired to find her. Tell me now, do you know where she is or not?
I do. Would she know?
You gonna give me up, really?
So why are you coming to me?
Because there's been complications in the past with interactions with my young lady, and I would wish to avoid her from fleeing further. So I'm coming to you to request your assistance.
Well, why don't you say what you had to say, and we'll see what we can do. But she is a trusted friend and companion of mine.
I understand, and that is why I'm asking you to follow through with this. Even though you're not full blood, I believe I can trust you. So at this point, he kind of steps to the side, being careful to. Again, he's sticking to kind of the periphery of the tent, and comes to the other side. It's not withdrawing his cloak, just kind of looking at you through this hooded thing. And upon setting up, normally you would expect to see more of a person, right? Even despite being in a tent in the dark, without sunlight or other things, even you would expect to kind of have your eyes adjust, and you'd normally be able to see very easily. But his face is obscured, like his whole visage, like you can't get a bead on anything, but the eyes that you can see through the hood of his cloak. And he says,
Are we in the same tent?
I believe that you and Tiger Lily had a tent, Vinfina and Vidax had a tent, Roland might... Kilziver was sleeping outside, because that was just his thing. And I think that it was like Roland and Clandon might have been sharing a tent, if I remember correctly. But what ended up, usually what would happen during the night is, obviously, since you're here and helping guard things, Roland is actually out on one of the parapets, kind of standing watch. Shield Guardian Vorn is outside doing his thing, but right now Clandon and this gentleman are alone in this tent.
So again, could I get your name?
My name is of no import.
Well, Mr. No Import, again, help me understand your intention.
My intentions is to serve my family, and to serve these patrons that have come to me for this request of aid, and I intend to keep my reputation unsullied and to ensure that she is delivered safely back to them.
And what if she doesn't want to go back to
I
them?
still don't have internet, sweetie.
That's the funny thing in life, is sometimes we have to do things that are things we don't necessarily want to do, but are for the greater good.
Well, I can't force her to go.
Then I expect as much, and I would like to propose that you help plant the seed that perhaps this is not the place for her, that she should be with her family, and that this is something that is in her destiny. She is not meant to be out here in the mud, and that she should stop running.
Where is she meant to be?
She will know. I believe that going to her directly has not yielded the best results in the past. It has done nothing more than push her further away. But my intent would be to have someone she trusts readily, that is able to convince her of this fact.
So you want me to convince a member of my party to leave our party to go back to her family?
Yes.
I don't see how that's advantageous to me and our group here.
Right?
Well, I leave you with this. If you are unable to succeed, then I will be forced to take her by force.
Yes, Penelope, I'm trying to fix it.
Okay. Are you even here right now completely?
I am.
I'm not even sure how you're in my tent.
The rudimentary defenses, as they might call them here, are very easy to get past. There are many gaps and openings in their defenses, and it was not very difficult to slip past each of the guards and to walk simply into your tent. It was a trivial matter for someone of my skill set.
Fair enough. Okay. And there's...
Make me a perception check. $17. Okay. So, hearing this guy's voice and being kind of in his presence, you feel some of the runes that you have, your inheritance, are not burning but almost itching as you hear his voice and kind of see his presence. So with this he says, and remember, I will give you a fortnight, and if you're unsuccessful in that time, I will be forced to resort to other measures.
Okay. And, do I have a way to contact you?
I will know when you need my presence. Just make your best effort. I will be watching.
Okay.
That's creepy.
And with that, he will essentially kind of walk towards the edge of the tent, and he turns around the corner and just disappears as he's kind of walking down. Like it's almost like it's like one of those Assassin's Creed things where someone walks past and poof, he's gone.
That wasn't creepy.
So with the settling of things going on, Aurora, you do feel, in addition to, like, as you're waking up, you feel that kind of, someone's been, not necessarily someone's been talking about you, but like that hair on the back of your neck, like the wind is blowing a different direction, or you can't quite put your finger on what it is, but you do have an air of unease when this transpires. And since you are a full elf, you do not sleep. You actually do trance stuff for 4 hours, and so during your trance you do feel and notice just this uneasiness, but you're not able to quite put your finger on what it is. Vinfina,
Preston, I still do not have internet.
you still don't have internet?
I don't remember what the app is called to see if it's paused. I don't know.
Alright, give me a second. My wife's locked out of the internet.
I haven't been able to hear her.
That's what happens when I put child controls on the wrong computer. Home activity, network, past 24 hours, very high. Where are we at? Profiles, devices.
What is the app called?
iPad Mini's paused and Kindle Fire's paused, but your iMac just says it's offline.
Yay.
So go to your Wi-Fi settings, and then turn off your Wi-Fi and turn it back on, and then try and reconnect to Bifrost. See if that works. Is that working? Okay, I'll give it a second while you're looking at that. Then Fina, also, as she is... Is it working? Okay, she's getting back in. So Vinfina kind of the wakes up kind of just normal from her trance. The rest of the camp is starting to wake up. You start to hear people getting dressed. Some people who are kind of moving things back and forth. The changing of the guards. You have several folks kind of coming in and out. And Vinfina, as you're awakening, you do hear kind of your tent flap open gently, and you see a familiar face of Sister Sias, one of the gals that you recall from helping, kind of medicinally helping the people in this area. She pokes her head in, and she kind of leans in and says, "If you don't mind, I've got some problems with a couple folks who are ill. If you would be willing to assist in this, they've come down with some of the more of the throat leashes. Apparently, we did not boil the water as thoroughly as we ought to have."
Yeah, I can help.
All right. Well, right this way. And she takes Vinfina out, is able to go into some of these tents, and is able to help remove some of these less desirable things. So if you want to mark for 2 people, removal of a condition.
What do you mean?
If you're using lay on hands. Are you using
is
lay
that
on
what
hands?
I need to do?
If you're,
Is that the only way to heal him?
That's if you want to cure a disease. That would be one way to do it. Otherwise, I'll have you roll a medicine check to be assisted with this. One of these people is one of the acolytes that actually helps with it, but it's just a typical kind of just upkeep of this area.
If I purify water, is that gonna last for very long?
It should say in the description. I believe it stays once it's purified. It's purified.
Then I will also do that.
Okay, for the kind of the grounds area. Okay, so you go to some of the barrels and you purify the barrels to make sure that it doesn't further cause issues. You guys see Mushrib. He's cooking some things at the fire, kind of keeping to himself, not necessarily going toward the crowds or anything. What are the rest of you guys doing? So Venfina's helping kind of with the stuff. Roland, you see as well, he's kind of shoveling some stuff, trying to clean up some of the water that's causing some of the contaminants in this area.
I start to go around to each one individually and saying, we need to group up and talk about what we're doing.
Okay. So to the party members?
Yep.
Okay. So does everyone comply?
Just our direct party. I left Musha where it is.
Okay, doing his thing. So he's gonna be over here. Aurora, do you comply as well?
Sure.
All right. Good access.
Did my medicine check, was that good enough to assist?
Yes, you're able to help with creating some salves. So if you don't want to, you're able to help with cleansing some of these folks with the leeches. It does take an hour or 2, but you're able to.
That's fine.
Get it done.
I prefer to do that then.
Yep, that's totally fine. Okay, so after Venfina kind of comes back, washing her hands of kind of helping this, each of you are kind of collected in this area, and Clandon has kind of rallied the folks.
All right, everybody. I had somebody pay me a visit, or I had a visitor pay me a visit last night.
We don't need to hear about your nightly escapades.
Not that kind of visit.
Visitor, quote unquote.
This was the dark, hooded, mysterious figure with creepy eyes kind of visitor. Does that description sound familiar at all to you, Aurora?
Roll me a history
If creepy
check.
guys sound familiar to me.
Yeah, because he seemed to know you.
Roll me a history check. We'll see how well you remember based on the description that Clandon gave. Doesn't sound familiar. You've met many hooded weird figures in your escapades.
Is he talking about Aurora? I
Aurora.
missed that part.
Yes, the guy in the hooded cloak was talking about Aurora, yes. So you've kind of run into a lot of different people that could describe, at least based on the description he had, it couldn't be a lot of different people.
I'll give you a bit more details. So he came to me last night asking about you and asking me to persuade you to return home.
So they've come to that. Okay. Well, thanks for telling me.
Care to share your story a little bit?
I'm good.
He was threatening us, saying that he'll use force to drag you back to your parents Yeah.
Yeah, he can try.
Do you have any idea who this guy is?
Tiger now. Do I know who he is?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Who is he?
Why did he come to Clarendon?
So roll another history check,
I'm
this
just
time with
curious.
advantage.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm. Aurora. Then who? History, yes. Okay, so this time, now that he's said that, it's definitely struck a chord with you. You recall in your upbringings, there had been many kind of talks within your upbringing with your family, and I'll leave that to your discretion, where you've heard whispers and talks about different things of when things don't go quite right, that there's a specific mercenary guild that sometimes you would hear whispers of, like, you be good or else they're gonna send they're gonna send these boogeymen, for lack of a better word, after these children to take them away, or to basically to whip them into shape, or different things. And you never met anyone who had necessarily had this encounter. There is a generally with these individuals, they wear things like a displacer cloak, which would explain why he could not see his face, and that they are very secretive, and there's not a lot known about them, but they're kind of like just like the things that go bump in the night that no one actually like lives to tell about or comes back once they disappear, that kind of thing. It's kind of almost like a folktale, but at the same time, having interfaced, it brings more memories back where some of the different places that you have been in, you've talked with different people, and then the way that they had interacted with you, and then suddenly the generosity that they had shown you turned to almost like you couldn't quite explain what caused this change in those people, but you're starting to connect the dots that this change in them, and them kind of becoming very intensely interested in your past and who you are and where you're going, and kind of to keep you in or to get you to go home, is starting to lock in place from those interactions.
So the scary, creepy guys are all over the place?
Mm-hmm.
Aurora had to tell us what she remembered. If she chooses.
Is that Pocahontas in that tent?
Pocahontas, what?
It's like Pocahontas looking...
Where?
Trying.
Oh.
It looks like Pocahontas.
Scroll in. She doesn't look like Pocahontas. Sister Sias? She's not Pocahontas.
She looks like Pocahontas.
So that's what you remember, Aurora. At least from your, it's kind of takes a little bit, but you're starting to put the pieces together from your past experiences.
Okay, so I share that.
And just one other note, I mean, you all know about my glowy tattoo on my back, most of you have seen it.
Yep.
It kind of tingled when he was around, it was a little weird. So
You're half elf.
there might
And
be a connection between him or I guess this group and my father. I didn't ask him, guys. He was too shady.
do you know about my father? I thought he was your father for a minute.
I wanted to ask, but no.
Are you my father?
Are you my father? Are you my daddy? Yes. Wait, what? No.
So.
Oh, and he kept saying his name was no import. I don't think that was his real name.
Oh dear. So, are these people from the Fae ancestry? And then Aurora and I would both be aware of their...
roll a history check. We'll see how well you remember. Because you both did have similar circles in your growing up.
He called me a half-blood.
Oh, he did?
Roll it with initiative, or with not initiative. Roll it with advantage with Clandon's additional comment. It is better.
Oh, so last thing of note, we have a fort for Aurora. He said you had a fortnight, otherwise he's gonna force you to go back to her parents.
Oh, so your parents sent them, so... Did you run away? Avi.
Come right out with it! Elephant in the room!
Did you run away? Because you're what, like 17? I can't remember how old you are.
According to elves, I believe you're from as far as elves go. She's very young.
But how do we not know these things? Let's see how old.
So, based on while you're checking on the age.
Holy crap! I just looked. I'm 32.
Yeah, 32.
So you're a youngling still.
Yep. And then elves are...
I'm
elves
321.
Yeah, elves live to be a long time, so it ties into the younger generation
like
to be less or more resistant and less.
To me.
All right, so Benfina, based on your history check and her descriptions, you do remember hearing these types of things before. You don't know the name of this specific guild, but you do know that again they work in the shadows. They are known for when they say they're going to do something, they do it. You've never heard of an instance where it's always, whenever you hear stories about these, it's always been, oh, you remember so and so? Well, I think they didn't pay their dues to XYZ shady person, and then they disappeared. So
I know them as like kind of like bounty hunters,
essentially,
or
bounty hunters, or that they're work for hire, that you haven't interfaced with them directly, but again, you know that it's one of those things in in the areas that you guys grew up in. That is something that was used to scare children, boogeyman story type things.
So it is Fae related. Or is it just elven related?
You could surmise, based on Clandon's saying, basically calling him a half-blood, that you believe that there's a high likelihood that they're either related to elves or they would be some form of elf.
Interesting. Well, they say we have a fortnight. I don't know how they found us. How are all these people finding us? Do we have like a tracker on us or something? Oh no, my internet. I hear nothing again.
Can you guys still hear her?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, give it a second. My internet will probably cut again. If her internet's being dumb, my internet's gonna be dumb.
Which is...
So I guess you guys are able to as she's kind of giving this information. Was there anything else that you wanted to check on Benfina as you're talking to her? As a reminder, because I know it's hard to carry a conversation with our internet being dumb. Aurora says that she did leave home.
Why? What would cause you to run away? I hear nothing.
My parents were being too controlling.
Hmm.
They wanted to dictate every piece piece of my life, and I don't want.
He made it also.
You cut out, Clandon. You made it also sound, and then you stopped. It might be my side. Oh,
No, I
bother.
can't hear me there.
Oh, okay. What did you do?
I plead the fifth.
Apparently, he got kicked out of the channel.
What? Try leaving and rejoining, see if that fixes it.
What a hot mess.
Yeah, internet's being super dopey today.
It went on summer break too, apparently.
It went on summer break too. It's true.
Suck it now.
Okay, now try. Nope, still can't hear you. Is there a hardware? There we go.
Oh, I kind of heard that. Say that.
Whatever you just did, it clicked and I could hear you for a second.
Yeah, we heard.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. We can hear you.
No, I can't.
The mute button get hit. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what.
Yep, it's gone again.
Hit it.
It's back.
What? You haven't told us because you made it sound like you were someone of import. More than just being back to your family, but being back to who you're.
Well, I matter.
A huge spider came out of the wall and started crawling. What? When did you write that?
Yes. I know, right?
Roll for initiative.
Oh,
Here we go.
It had something to do with my father, my tattoo. I don't know. Do you know? Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I go sneaking into your tent or anything.
The what?
Now you know. The more you know.
I mean, it could be that they're also planar warriors or something. Maybe he got here through a portal.
Yeah, but how did they find us? That's what I'm most concerned about. Who is feeding intel?
Well, it's not me.
We talked to a lot of people back in
Nose goes.
Chol.
Yeah.
But still, to find us in the middle of the forest here. I think I already checked here, but I'm gonna reach out and see if I can detect a portal nearby.
Okay. Go ahead. And this one is the casting, or is there a DC on it?
I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Let me look.
It's all coming back. Seriously, get that song out of my head.
Okay. Baby shark do 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 do.
So just jeez. You detect the distance and direction of the closest planar portal within 1 mile of you.
Okay.
Nice.
You don't detect a portal itself, but you do detect planar energy. That is, it doesn't. There's no fixated point. You don't get the sense that there's any strong ley lines in this area. But you do sense a lingering kind of like energy that would be similar to a portal.
So I don't feel a portal nearby, but I definitely feel some of the same energy that I have in the area. I don't know enough to be able to explain it exactly, but
Wait,
these guys are definitely have a similar.
can you do portals now?
I can detect them
Okay.
within
Is
a
that
certain
something-
range.
Where does that magic come from?
Planar warrior.
Oh. Cool. Sure. Cool beans.
and it has something related to, I believe it is tattoos that my father left me. Part of the reason why I want to find it.
Yeah. Help you understand your roots. Helps you understand a lot. I mean, Aurora, I understand parents want you to come back, and what was so bad about being at home? Did they try to marry you off or something?
Yeah, partly.
Are you a princess?
That depends on your definition.
I'm not talking like Daddy's little princess here. I'm talking like blood royalty, like next in line kind of.
Ouch.
Maybe.
What was that? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Like real couldn't hear me, or like you're like saying it.
Oh man.
Now we can't
Man,
hear him.
guys, I feel so old.
Impart some of your wisdom upon this young.
We're the same epic age.
Huh?
But you're an elf. You're like
You're a full blood.
5.
So I draw my bow and point it at him and say,
I stopped talking.
I was gonna say roll for intimidation, but it's already intimidating.
Hey, Roland, why you being so quiet? Did you have a girlfriend last night?
Well, you know, this is normal stuff with the death curse slowly sapping away my life, but I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
That sounds like it too.
He was just enchanting things, that's all.
Yep.
Alright, come on. Spill the beans for us. We want you to stay with the group. We want to help you if you want to stay. If we can take these guys on, we'll do it. We'll do what we gotta do.
Do we need to just, like, go back and explain to your parents that you're okay? I mean, what do they want from you exactly?
Okay, so okay, the best way I can explain this is like Merida, but an elf.
Legolas
They
and
don't
Merida.
They want you acting like a princess and not a ranger.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
She's a
I wanna
library, right?
dictate my own life.
And Aurora,
Yes.
have you ever divulged your full name?
No.
Okay.
It's Borealis, isn't it?
That was a grade A dad joke. I love it.
I'm winning!
The reason I asked that is because Venfina and you both come from similar veins of culture in those areas.
Yeah, that's why I wondered if I knew her parents.
And so that's why,
If I had any pull with them, or, you know, from being so damn old. And persuasive, or whatever I am. Yeah, I am kind of persuasive. Oh, right. I guess let me do a perception check on Aurora. What do I perceive about Miss Aurora? Do I notice anything new now that I have this new intel?
about Aurora specifically?
Yeah, just like
You don't. No.
Am I gaining any insight as to?
No, I mean, based on, I mean, there's lots of different noble families that you're aware of. There's lots of different different castes within the Elvish society, being Eladrin elves. You know that if she is of a noble house, that, you know, obviously being an elf, there are those associations of, you know, duty, where you, as in any, you know, caste system, where there's that sense of duty that self before, or no, sorry, the family or the house before self type mentality that usually pervades. So you can relate to what she is saying from a as she's speaking about the way that their family's being treated, or the way that she's being treated in her family, seems relatively normal as far as high elven society. And so but again, you don't just know kind of where she's from or who she's related to.
Would I know more if I knew her name?
Probably.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's usually more telling is when you know someone's full name. The House of XYZ, you know, as an example, you know, if you met, for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, if you met Daenerys but you didn't know she was a Targaryen, then you just be like, oh, she's a blonde chick, like whatever. But then you're like, Targaryen, and she's like, whoa, she's got a dragon. So that kind of thing. Or Starks, you know, it's those important details that would kind of connect the dots between the family and who they are, and what kind of, where they fall in High Elven society. Mm-hmm. And so you guys know, for those of you who don't know what a fortnight is, because I was looking up to make sure, it is 14 nights.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Okay, I think
I thought it was a month.
I know, I did too.
It's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Alright, who remembers how long will it take us to get up river to Troll?
Today, right?
You believe, based on the currents and how they kind of change, and you probably take 2-3 days to get up there, if you were to go, you were going to Port Nanzaru, because you're in Chult.
Oh, Port Nanzaru, that's right. So we can pause this conversation at the port and maybe give Aurora some time to think about what she wants to do. How does that sound, Aurora?
Well, I already know I'm not going back.
That you're not going back?
Boom, roasted.
Do these guys not worry you at all?
Fool me?
Worry.
Oh, a little, but
They seem pretty intimidating and threatening. And I don't think I'd put it past them of taking us out to get to you.
then just don't let them take you out.
I can't hear Becca.
Oh, there you go. Say it again.
Just stay awake all the time. They gave us a fortnight, so we at least kind of know when they're coming.
Can you not hear her through my mic?
No, not really. You're cutting in and out as well.
Alright, let's see.
The night of technical difficulties.
It's
Talk
like
through
an
your mic.
episode
I'll mute mine.
of
Talk through yours.
Sailor Moon, where the lips move but the voice doesn't.
It's true.
Alright, I gotta go check the dryer. I'll be right back.
Alright, yeah, I don't know. I think we should head back to the port and maybe okay, so now we have this timeline with do you guys know the name of this boogeyman group? Alright, so we got
No, they don't.
we've got the boogeymans coming in 2 weeks. And we've got Roland like getting weaker and weaker as each day passes. Ain't nobody got time for this.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Giant pile of books start falling down behind me. You see
Yeah,
the avalanche of children's books.
Just
started toppling over.
We do
Jeez.
indeed have a timeline, but if they found us in the middle of
Echo.
oh,
All right, here I'll mute.
but if
Yeah. Yeah, that's a plan. Before that though, I think we need to devise. I mean, it sounds like Aurora is not going back, and yeah, I could maybe distract him with asking about my father while you guys run away. Yeah, this is true. He definitely seemed, if we had to fight him, he definitely seemed like, just my brief encounter with him, like he would be a very strong.
curse, then
That's a good point. So we got 2 weeks to solve to fix Roland, and that's a good goal.
Kilsver does speak up a little bit. He says, I will. I believe they still need my assistance. Yeah, but I will meet up with you as soon as I can.
okay. What,
All right.
What is he doing there? Okay.
I just don't want to keep toting his, his token around.
Token.
He's got things to do, Becca. He's a monk. There's monkey things he can do. So as soon as you guys are ready, Mushrib, he goes out and he, at your discretion, readies the boats, gets things ready. Becca, can you mute yourself? Or go on push to talk, one of the two.
I am on push to talk, aren't I?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because he can
Oh,
hear
it wasn't?
me twice. So if you
Well,
want-
unless we're still picking her up your mic.
she can hear me through my mic, but if you're hearing me twice, it's coming through her mic. So, all right. So going through, Mushrib gathers the boats, get everything ready. You guys are able to kind of get your stuff put together, and there's no fanfare or like goodbyes or anything. The guards just kind of, they open the door and just kind of like don't let the door hit you on the way out type deal.
Unattached.
Thanks for the clean water. Thanks for the clean water and the life, but get out. So, and yeah, you guys are able to leave, and you start going up the river. About a day through, it starts raining again. You guys have a lot of different things flying past. A few sturges that had attacked, but you're able to quickly dispatch of those. No issues. But you start to get up further upriver. So we're gonna go to the big map here that takes forever to load. Player's map of Chult. Here we are. It's huge.
Totally awesome.
5 years later. Give it a second to load. I don't know about on your screen, but it takes forever to load on mine.
It does. I don't really understand the point of the tiles.
It's supposed to just block stuff from view.
Oh, is that what we haven't explored?
Yeah, these are like unexplored areas, yeah. That's the idea. The things that aren't covered, like the mountains, you can obviously see from a long distance if you get high enough, that kind of stuff, but otherwise it's not there. So you guys are going up. You guys see kind of the similar areas past where Yellark, the Batiri Goblin tribe that you guys had passed, and as kind of Vorn is kind of trudging past because he can't fit in the boats. He's either walking on the shore or in the water, one of the two. He kind of is going. He's holding onto the rungs of the boats, and he's trying to pull it. Kind of similar to like if you'd have a donkey or something on the shore, and he's just kind of walking through, breaking through stuff. And as this is happening, and you guys are making your way through, you start to get up a little higher, and you're trying to break free from the jungle. You start to see it thinning out a little bit. You notice something bumping the boats, and I need everyone to do a round of perception checks, please. So Vorn himself is in front, pulling. Clandon 21. Okay, so each of you looking around, you do notice that there are colored, almost like large frogs that are kind of underneath the water, and they're bumping into the boats. And when you really notice them is when one of them attempts to capsize one of your boats. So who is in which boat?
We've got 2 boats or 3 boats?
Right now you have, I believe, with the rowboats that they provided you, everyone's kind of stuffed into the 2 boats, I believe.
I'm in the one furthest from Vorn.
Okay. Well, Vorn is up on the shoreline. So here we're going to pull here. So you've got Clandon in one, Benfina if you're furthest, maybe down here.
I'm in the rear.
Tiger Lilies with Aurora.
I'm with Mushadi even.
Vidax.
Probably rolling.
Musher been rolling. Okay. And Aurora, would you and Tiger Lily want to be with Benfina, or are you pushing to the other boat? I assume that one. Okay. So you hear Musharib kind of mutter under his breath as he kind of stabilizes the boat, and he takes one of the oars and slaps the water, and you hear him kind of mutter under his breath, and he's like, "Dirty grungs." At this point, you've only seen 1 or 2 of them, but as you get further down river, you see more of these on the shore that dive into the water, and you guys are on the river. So here we've got...
And when he says that, do any of us hear the word grungs?
Yeah, people who are near him would hear it. It would be Roland and Clandon that would have heard it.
Well, but I can read lips.
Yes, if you have that perception thing, you would be able to read his lips. And
okay, can I do see if I know what a grung is?
Yeah, go ahead and do a history check.
Increase my history.
I guess it would be a nature check, not a history check, but history in your case. These are your fun little banana boats. Whoop. I don't know why your boat's smaller than theirs. There, here, I'll make it yours.
I was gonna ask, but
yours is more 3-dimensional now. There's a. What's with our boats?
What are these guys?
It says, well, these frog folk, as some call them, the grungs, they are a thorn in my side, and in most people, they think themselves superior to other people, and they typically are not something that you want to fight in the water, because they obviously have the advantage against what we're trying to do. Be careful of them, they do have poison.
Oh dear.
And they
Can they be reasoned with?
They typically are. They don't believe that there's any point to be reasoned with. It seems right now they're trying to test our abilities in the water, and if we aren't careful, then they may overcome us yet. This point, the ship Vorn just continues walking forward and pulling the boats.
Hey, Roland, you might want to think something about Vorn.
Oh, yes. Pulls out the amulet. Vorn, stop. Stops in the water. Just kind of stands still.
No,
a couple of the grungs
already
further ahead. Start throwing different small spears, short bow, using small daggers and other things, and you see him just kind of ting 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 ting, kind of bouncing off of him. most of them being thrown from out of distance. And at this point, the grungs start moving more aggressively. And in the middle of the water, you see a much kind of larger by comparison grung that pops out of the water that is orange. The rest of these are kind of varying degrees of, some of them are green, some of them are kind of a purpley hue, but this one is definitely bigger than the rest. And you see him pop out of the water. And you hear kind of like a guttural, the sound is, it's like a murloc from the World of Warcraft series. You hear him, and then at this point he's gonna throw a spear at you guys. So if I need you guys to start rolling for initiative. So let's do initiative, and I'll give you a picture here of what they look like once we get initiative.
Rude little grunges.
Grung. Yep. Roll. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I missed one. There we go. We'll roll for initiative. We'll roll for Lorne. We'll roll for Roland. Okay, so we've got Vidax, Tiger Lily, Vinfino, Aurora, Klein. Got it. Okay, everybody's there.
You have Roland.
So we're going to go descending. Yes, I have Roland in there. We're going to go through descending order. So the first one, this Grung Elite Warrior.
Oh.
In the middle, getting basically kind of like a surprise round where he's gonna throw this spear, and on this spear at the end of it, there's this kind of like bulbous, pustulous, sticky looking kind of like ball on the end of the spear, and he throws it at Vorn himself. And as it hits Vorn, you see as this pustulous just explodes, and you see this kind of cloud of smoke and kind of like a dust or spores, and then you see these vines and the fungus begin to grow all through all his different parts of his arms and his legs, and he seems to at this point be kind of stuck and rooted in place. You see him kind of struggle and move, and
Are they magic users?
he's not able to move. You're not sure. Okay, so we've got first Grung is the one that bumped your boat. He's going to attempt right now to try and tip the boat. I need Clandon, Roland, and Musharib to make dexterity saves for me, please. And what this is going to do is we're going to do a combined check. If it's 12 or below for the average, then it fails and it capsizes. If it is above that, then you guys succeed. We're going to use the left-hand one because it's not with advantage. Roland Greenfield, character sheet, dexterity. This is... yeah, it's saving throw, dexterity. Ooh. Okay, so... So Clandon, you start to steady yourself, but as soon as this Grung starts to push up against the boat and like tip it a little bit, Roland kind of stands up in the boat to try and to steady himself, and ends up tipping to the side, and this boat ends up capsizing.
Oh dear.
So now you guys, when you're in the water, you do have swimming speed. So if you go to D&D Beyond, I believe most creatures it's like 25 or 30-ish maybe, depending on what kind of creature you are. But do note that you're in the water, and I need you to each make me a Constitution saving throw, because as you've fallen in the water, we want to see if you're able to catch your breath before you hit the water, or if you try and drink said water on the way in. Clandon.
It's not poisonous, is it?
So Clandon, as you hit the water and you're kind of like exhaling, Roland, no, and you fall in and you try and take a breath. You do get some water in your system, and we'll see. Mark yourself as I'll mark it down here, and then later If something comes of it, then you'll know. Just put it here, edit.
What is that for?
You'll find out.
Okay, and then we've got Moose Rib and Roland. So Roland's gonna make con save.
Is Mooshroom fighting with us?
He's in the boats.
Yeah, does he have like fighting?
Yeah, he has stuff that he could do. He usually is pretty passive. So let's see. Roland makes his save. He's able to kind of catch his breath before he hits the water. And Musharib, as he's falling into the water, takes a breath. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Not Dex. He is able to also make that save. So the two of them kind of hold their breath as they fall in, and you see Musharib kind of instinctively kind of keep to his trying to keep the water out of his face and his eyes and his mouth. You hit the water and you kind of sit, but the boat kind of flips upside down and is sitting. This Vorn still has a hold of the rung or the boat, so like this boat starts to slide slowly towards the shore since you're kind of just sitting still. That direction. But you guys are currently in the water. Next one is going to be the Grung up here. He's going to use his full movement right now, which is... Oh, by the way, here, Grung. Here's what they look like. Player handouts. Grung, show to players. Show everyone.
Oh, they're kind of cute.
So that's what they look like.
They're very cute.
The little guys.
Are they like what, a foot tall?
Little guy. Okay, so these guys, as far as their size,
It's like they're magic users.
some of them can be, yes. All right, so he's going to, let's see, he's going to use his movement, which is going to be 25 feet. Which I would think they would have better swimming speed, but they don't.
You have tiny legs.
They have little tiny legs. So you see one of them, 5, 10, 15, 20... So you see one of them kind of swim forward. He's going to use his dash action. 5, 10, 15, 20.
Against two.
You what?
Against two.
He's just using a dash action to get closer. He's just using to be quicker. And then he is going to... Yeah, he's basically gonna get close. Close. So Vinfina, Vidax, Tiger Lily, Aurora, you see as this frog is kind of making a beeline for your boat to attempt to do the same thing, but he's not able to get there and close enough. Clandon, it is your turn. You're in the water.
In the water. Okay, so it seems like swimming speed is like half speed. It's like 2 for every.
Yeah, I can verify when you look. So if you're on, where's it at? It shows swimming. Let's see. Set movement display, swimming. If on D&D Beyond, if you switch it to swimming, it'll actually, I think it can help with.
How do you do that?
No, it doesn't have it in there. Sucks. Water for swim speed. I believe you're right. There's a penalty to, it's because you think of it as you're in water.
It says while climbing or swimming, but it costs 1 extra foot.
Yes, you're right. So it's basically half speed, yes.
Okay, so
if you want to move, you can still fire your bow and other things and chop in the water, which makes sense, but it would be at a kind of disadvantage because you are trying to shoot something in water.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move. I can make it almost there to the ship.
Okay.
Is that guy next to me gonna get an attack opportunity?
Based on where he's at, yes, that grung is within your space.
Okay, I'll go ahead and risk.
Put it right there. So yeah, go ahead and he will swing at you. So this small grung, he is going to use his dagger and swipe at you. That is a 20. Does 20 hit?
It does.
Is that a natural 20? No, that's not a natural 20. That was a 16. So, what is... Yeah, so that's 5d4 plus 4, so that's going to be 9 total piercing, or 5 piercing damage, 4 poison damage. And the reason... so if you have any resistances to poison, etc., that would be halved. But that would be 9 total damage from the grung slicing at you. And you feel as this dagger cuts across your lower back, you feel it burn as it comes in contact, and you get the sense that it's not the water making it burn, that it's probably something a little more insidious within the blade.
Well, having just been swiped by that guy, I'm gonna shoot back with my bow.
Okay.
As best I can.
Go for it. So you're just coming out of the water, and you're able to line up a shot.
I wasn't able to. I was 5 feet short of the water.
So you're basically be about like waist deep in this water, and so as you turn around and you pull your bow, it's just going to be you won't be at disadvantage. It'll just be a standard shot since you've moved to higher ground.
Mm-hmm.
15, that does hit. Roll for damage. Second one, 9, does not hit. So that's 8 piercing damage. Okay. So as this grung, he slices at you, and you hear him. You shoot fire and arrow at him, and you see him and hits him, and you see his throat where the. Oops, 9.
That sounds gory.
Yeah, his throat where where they croak and they have the bag. You see it kind of fill up, and then he exhales in fury, but he's still alive.
Yeah, how do you like that?
You see him shaking his fist. Next grung is going to use his movement speed to get up to Vorn. 5, 10, 15, 20. And he is going to... Yeah, he's basically going to continue to try and reinforce this. He's pulling out a rope, and he's going to try and hold to get the shield guardian further secured where he can't move. So you see him like kind of uncoiling this very kind of thick corded vine like material, and he starts tying up Vorn himself to try and subdue him. That's going to be his turn. Aurora, it's your turn. Roland is on deck.
Okay. I am going to shoot at this one.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack. Okay, that is 19, does hit. Roll for damage. 10 piercing damage. Okay, so you're hitting that guy. So as you fire, you see the one grung that's kind of turns, and he sees his other buddy has capsized the other boat, and he starts to turn around to go over to tip over your boat, and you hit him with an arrow, and you just see him like sink into the water for a second, and then come up and kind of look down, and you see a lot of just blood and ichor just gouting out of this wound, but he is still croaking. He hasn't croaked yet. Damaged again. At this point, he comes up and he's like, and then you pull out for another arrow, and this next shot, he starts to bellow his throat open to try and again let out another war cry, and your arrow pierces right through. You hear the sickening pop sound as his throat just pops open, and just blood just fills his lungs, and you see him slowly just sink into the water and start floating. That is a dead grung.
That's it.
Alright, Roland, he's going to use his movement also to get up to the water. And he's going to use his amulet to talk into the amulet and use his action to say, Vorn, hold on to the boats, wait instructions. And then he's going to look at Clandon, and he's going to say, Clandon, take my hand, and he's going to reach out. He's going to use his lay on hands, and he'll use one of those. How much is one of them? Is it 5 points?
You can use however much.
Alright, he's just going to use one lay on hands point. Roland.
Single point?
Yes. How much does a single point heal?
1 hit point.
1 hit point. You are not
31 out of 40.
31 out of 40. Okay, he'll use.
So if he has
I'm trying to see how many he
30,
has
then
left.
If he uses, he should have all of it back though.
I know, but I don't know how many he had to begin with, so that's what I'm looking at.
Oh,
Because I don't see where.
I don't know.
Where's lay on hands?
Ours are different because we're different.
Find sense, channel divinity, oath spells, lay on hands. Oh, suck. Go back. Okay, lay on hands. Blessed touch can heal wounds. Someone's messing with me. Paladin number of hit points. Your paladin hit points plus 5.
I think
5 hit points. I don't know how he was keeping track of his lay on hands pool, but that's what I'm trying to find is basically where he was putting it, so I can put it in there as well. Used 5 points of healing. We'll say 5 points.
Alright.
Thank you. So this guy's current hit points is 43, because he's lost some.
how many levels of paladin does he have? Okay.
He is 4 levels of paladin.
And then he has 20.
He has 20. Okay, so go ahead and heal up for 5 points. And then he says, he kind of readies his shield and kind of smacks the Lightbringer against it, and he says, "We've come on, Mushrib, come this way. I will defend you." Now it's Vidax's turn, followed by Vinpina.
Oh, Vidax. He's in the boat. Oh, you guys can hear me, right? I don't have to push talk. Okay,
Yep.
so Vidax, I have him jump out and swim the boat towards the shore right by us, so our boat hits the shore.
Okay. So you kind of sand, whatever you call that, push it into the sandbar?
He doggy paddles us to the shore.
Okay.
Whoa, you did that so fast.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm cool like that. Sometimes, but not all the time. This boat is very, very realistic too, so.
Okay. And then he's gonna hold his action if we get attacked.
Okay. So he gets up, he uses his movement to try and enact that bullet.
Yup.
Okay, so Vidax, now what are you doing?
Now I'm gonna step onto the shore.
Okay.
So I have stable ground.
5, 10, so that's about 15 feet.
Sure. And I'm going to shoot at the nearest.
Okay, so you pull out your crossbow.
Yeah. With my heavy crossbow.
Okay, go ahead.
And if I do hit it, it will be with a sneak attack. I don't know. Is that how I need to word it?
What do you mean? So, okay, so if you have advantage, you get the sneak attack damage.
Right.
So you either have to have advantage
I
or
don't
someone's
have
standing next to
advantage,
it.
but I'm within 5 feet of a.
They have to be within 5 feet, because the idea is that they would be touching another enemy. Does that make sense?
Oh, I just read it wrong then, I guess.
That's okay. So go ahead and, just without the sneak attack damage, go ahead. 25 definitely hits. Roll for damage.
Okay. Crossbow, boom, boom.
Okay.
11. That's what I got.
All right, so as you line up your shot, you pull out your arrow. Again, this other grung, he pulls back his blade and he's about to throw a dagger your direction, and you fire your crossbow bolt, and he's dead.
I done killed him.
Headshot.
Alright, I'm gonna do my second attack at this guy. I believe I'd have clear sight of him.
Okay, so he's in the middle and he's kind of coming up. He's kind of waving his arms in the
He
air.
looks a little more scary to me, so I go for him. I say, That's only an 8.
Okay. 8 does not hit. So at this point, this elite warrior, you shoot at him, and he takes his blade and throws the bolt to the side, and he looks your direction, and he looks to the grungs behind him, and he points in your direction.
Okay, and then I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to take cover
Okay.
by the boat.
Okay. So you want to try and use the boat as kind
And
of
Vinax,
cover?
I
Okay.
probably would have had him not be in the boat.
That's
If
fine.
he had enough movement, like stay
fine.
out, take cover
Yep.
under
So he'd be
the boat,
out here somewhere.
or behind it, whatever.
Trying to make it so you're on top. There we go. Okay. Nope. Nope.
Whoa. Trying to make me on top.
It's bothering me that there are tokens behind him, but that's fine. Whatever. Okay, so that's that. Grung number 1, Grung number 2, they both make a dash in your direction. So they're going to go a total of 50 feet. So 25 is here. This other one is going to go from there to...
The music keeps changing.
Yeah, I figured out how to do playlists.
What?
So I'm cool like that, yeah.
Hello, that's
Okay, so they're gonna come up here. They use their action to do that. That's both of those grungs, and I'm just gonna make a collective attack because they're both right next to each other. Both of them are gonna throw daggers one at Venfina and one at Vidax. First one rolls a 16, and that one is going at Vidax. The second one is rolling at.
So does his attack, his action come into play now?
Whose action?
He was holding his action. Remember?
Yes. If he's what was the trigger?
If we get attacked.
Okay. What is he doing?
So he will teleport.
Okay. Usually movement's not a part of it, but the teleport would be an action.
Teleport is his action.
Okay, so he bamps.
And
Where's he going?
He can make one bite attack
So he's going to teleport to
after
them.
he teleports.
Okay, which one is he teleporting to?
Let me go back to the map. To the one right by the edge of.
Okay, so that one is he threw the dagger that was thrown. Vidax blinks out of existence right as it's going to hit because that would impose disadvantage. So it misses. Vidax is able to get there. The attack misses for his bite. So
we all got a. What is it called? Inspiration last time. Does that include our animal?
You
people?
could use it for your animals, yes.
Okay, I'd like to use it for him.
Go for it.
We had inspiration.
We do have inspiration from last time.
Oopsies.
So
14.
there we go. Bite dog.
Okay, bite succeeds. Go ahead and roll his attack.
Okay, so that was
14.
my inspiration I used.
Yes, your inspiration.
He doesn't have one.
He does not have one. No.
Okay, then-
But you can use it in lieu of your companions.
Okay, he did 4 piercing.
Okay, 4 piercing damage, and I need him to make a DC 12 Constitution save throw, please, or become poisoned for 1 minute.
From what?
Touching the grung.
Sorry, you said a
4
Constitution?
piercing. Yes, it needs to be Constitution save and be above a 12. So he is now poisoned.
Oh no!
So poison, if you need on your in D&D Beyond, I don't know where it would be in Roll20. I'm just going to keep referring to D&D Beyond. Under conditions, if you click on conditions, you can see where poisoned is, and a poisoned creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. So for 1 minute, at the end of his turn, he can make a save again as long as he's not contacting this frog to try and get rid of the poison. But as long as he's touching it, he's poisoned.
So he bit it, so he's no longer touching it, correct?
He bit it and he moved off. At the end of his next turn, as long as the grung doesn't hold on to him or something,
Okay, so
he can make a save. Yes.
Relayed to me that he touched it and he doesn't feel good.
Okay, -4. So he definitely biting it. You think of it as like a tree frog. The tree frog itself is poisonous and slimy and gross, and he biting into it, he gets the full effect in his mouth. It's nasty.
Okay.
Okay.
So does he lose hit points right now?
Yes.
Sorry.
No. He does not lose hit points. He's just poisoned. All it does is make it so he has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. So, so it's kind of like just having an upset stomach. The other dagger goes, and it's a natural 20. That is at Venfina.
Ooh, hello.
And he does 4, 5, 6, 7 piercing damage plus 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 19 total damage. Jeez. Holy cow. With a freaking dagger. I've never done that much damage with my dagger on my other account ever.
Let me see if I've got a reaction.
Seriously. 14, 19 points of damage.
Yikes.
Immediately after an attacker, then damages. Attack
Where do you
against
find the
poison.
conditions at D&D?
On D&D Beyond, if you go up at the top, it's right underneath your current hit points. There's a place that says conditions and defenses.
Gotcha.
You can add stuff there and kind of keep track of if he's incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so
The day that Roll20 and D&D Beyond do a integration will be a beautiful day. So you're gonna do a reaction?
oh, I don't have a reaction that will apply if I am injured.
Okay.
All of mine are just if my companions get injured.
Okay, no worries. So the Grung Elite dude, the orange guy who's calling the shots, he's going to, seeing that his guys are kind of doing their jobs on that end, he's going to go towards Mushrib in the water. And that is a 25 feet. Here. So he definitely can make it.
Shut in!
He's going to come up behind Mushrib and he's going to grab him and try and stab him with his dagger. For his attack, it's going to be as he grabs onto him, you see his throat come out and you hear this, and it like goes faster and faster until you hear this like a thrum.
I'm gonna throw up.
You hear this thrum throughout the area. I need
Close your mouth!
Roland, Clandon, and Musharib all need to make a DC 12 wisdom saving throw, or you'll be stunned until its next turn. Clandon is stunned. That basically just means you're just kind of standing there. You can also see that in the conditions if you want to see all the stuff that these conditions
I
do.
use inspiration on that.
Yeah, you can use inspiration on it. A stunned creature is incapacitated. It can't move, can't speak, or it can speak, but only falteringly. The creature automatically fails strength and dex save throws, and attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Okay, so still stunned. So I'm going to put a little stunned icon on you. I don't know what stunned would look like, but maybe it looks like a bleeding eyeball. Sure, bleeding eyeball.
Stunned.
Musharib and let's get Roland and Musharib. Come on, Musharib. Nope, that's not what I want. Where is your? There it is. So we got both these dudes. Constitution. Wait, what was that? Constitution, right? No, it's a wisdom save. Wisdom save. Wisdom saving throw. Okay, so. Wait, where did I swear I just clicked Rollins. Mushrib critically fails, and so at this point, Mushrib, he hearing this at such close proximity, you see like in his ear, blood starts to trickle a little bit down his ear, and you see him just kind of lock up and start to sink in the water. The Grung warrior lets go of him. He also needs to make a Constitution save against, which I'll just use that other one, against being poisoned. He is poisoned.
Isn't Vorn technically in the water with the boats?
You what?
Vorn, isn't
No.
he in the water? Oh, not
He's
yet.
standing he's standing outside the water, and he has ropes that are attached to each boat, so they won't go uphill or go downriver or whatever. Okay, I lied. So that was Roland is the one that critically failed. Mushrib made his save with a 13, and but he failed his Constitution saving throw, so he is currently poisoned.
This music is so intense.
Yeah, this is all the ones that I purchased forever
What?
ago.
You purchased music?
Yeah, I purchased it for the Broken Spear like 2 years ago. This is our theme music. Yeah, so he does that. So the stun, Roland's good or stunned. So let's put the stun thing on him. Let's use the same one with the spiky icon. And he's poisoned. You're also poisoned, so I'll use the poison icon on you just to make sure. Okay.
This is terrible.
All right. So this Grung, and he kind of looks out at you, and you see this kind of like toothless, gummy maw just kind of like smile, and as he kind of bears these little barb-like fangs, and you hear him going, Next, it's the Shield Guardian. He's just going to do his thing because he was told to hang on to the ropes while this other grung is basically just tying up. He's just kind of sitting there just watching it. Tiger Lily, it's now her turn.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm gonna have her.
What's the second symbol on?
You have poison and the stunned.
Okay.
Was I not poisoned? I was just damaged by that thing.
You what? You were damaged. You were not
I
poisoned, no.
wasn't poisoned. Oh,
You took poison damage, but you did not become poisoned, no.
just the next this.
Each square is 5.
Yes, each square is 5.
Are you doing the crossbows for poison?
The what?
Crossbows for poison?
What do you mean crossbows for poison?
No. A little vial for poison?
The little poison is the little splatter icon.
Undo, I don't know how to undo that.
I gotcha. So I'll get it for him. I forgot to put it on. Okay, poison. I put poison on him. Okay, so
She's gonna join that up
It's been
here
double poison.
okay,
and attack that froggy.
okay. So she hops out of the boat and she goes up to attack the froggy. Okay, she can make her pounce attack. Go ahead.
Oh
And
no, don't touch it.
what's the DC? Is it 12 on her?
Yes.
And that's strength.
Yes.
Okay, strength saving throw. It rolled a natural 20.
Oh.
So it's kind of slippery, kind of steps out of the steps aside, so the initial pounce doesn't affect it. It's not able to knock it down, but you are able to do a. Let's see if it's with the claw attack.
No, I can
Oh, you have to do your claw attack.
successful.
Yeah, you have to do the claw attack. So go do the claw attack real quick. So the claw attack will still go through, but the other one, yeah. So 12 does hit, 4 slashing damage, and I need Tiger Lily to make a DC 12 Constitution save. Did you get that, or am I cutting out?
You totally cut out.
Oh, okay, sorry. So Tiger Lily needs to make a Constitution save, and it needs to be 12 or more, or be poisoned.
Oh, do I just hit like a dice button or something?
Go on her character sheet and just hit Constitution.
You'll win.
Yes. 15, she succeeds. She is not poisoned. So she thankfully, since she didn't bite him, she clawed at him. It wasn't as bad, but she does feel kind of that sickening burn on her paw. And she kind of wipes it off on the muddy banks. On Videx. Stupid dog. All right. So next up, Grung in the middle of the water. He's also going to come up, and he's going to use his movement to come up here. He's going to try to stab Mushrib.
Where did the one go with the creepy skin?
He's up here.
I don't see him.
He's sitting next to Mushrib.
He's invisible.
Invisible.
Yeah, he's invisible.
I can see him.
I see nothing. Oh, there he is.
Maybe it's your view distance. I don't know.
No, I see him now.
Okay, so the other guy, he's going to attack. He's going to use his dagger. And that is a 20 to hit against Mushrib. It hits. That's going to be 10 piercing, or 5 piercing, 5 poison, 10 total.
Oh, poor Mooch.
And you hear him kind of cry out as this dagger hits him in the back. Clandon, it's your turn. Actually, you're stunned, so you cannot, unless you have a reaction of some way form to break through the stun. It is now the next Grung's turn. He's going to continue finishing with this turn. Will finish tying off stuff with the shield guardian, and he'll rejoin. Aurora. It is Aurora's turn. Roland on deck.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at this one.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack. Is this sharpshooter or normal? Okay. 20. Yeah, it hits. Roll damage. Nice 7. Okay, so that one in the back, he's kind of again swimming slowly towards the shore, and you definitely hit him. The second arrow, he's expecting, so as it kind of whizzes past and hits the water and skits, he kind of comes up and swings. He kind of shakes his arm and. Do you want to use any movement?
He's talking about his mother?
He's talking about his mother.
That's what I
Your mama! Roland is stunned, so he skipped Vidax. It's his turn. He is poisoned, so any attacks or ability checks he makes is at disadvantage. End of the turn, he'll make a check to see if he
the
can...
The little guy in front of us is still not dead.
No.
Does he need to make his constitution save?
At the end. At the very end, to see if he gets rid of it.
Am I not able to do that without stun?
Your stun ends at the end of... go ahead and make a constitution save for the poison, but you'll still be stunned until Grung Warrior's turn.
Oh, I did it at disadvantage. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well...
Actually, I think with... Hold on, let me see. Stunned, I think you do it with disadvantage.
For poison, that's for the poison.
For the poison, yeah. Because poison also imposes disadvantage, but I don't think it does disadvantage. So, poisoned, disadvantage on attack and stability checks. I don't know. Does poison affect the poison check? I don't know. I'd say probably. And then the fact that you are not paralyzed, stunned. So stunned, incapacitated, can't move. Strength and save. Attack rolls against the creature. Yeah, so the stun doesn't do it. So yeah, I think right. So you're still currently poisoned.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the Grung's turn, you'll see if you get you will be unstunned at that point. Vidax is going to attack, correct?
Yeah, he's gonna do another bite attack.
Okay, do a bite attack. Go ahead. Venfina's your next. So 11 does not. So he kind of nips at him and it misses. Does he want to use any movement?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
If he backs away, is that an attack of opportunity?
Yes.
Okay, he's doing nothing.
Okay, so he kind of chills and he can make a Constitution saving throw now to see if he gets rid of the poison.
Woo! Yeah, he did.
Alright, so 19. Yes, he cleanses the poison. He's no longer rolling with... wait, hold on. You need to roll with disadvantage.
Oh, did he need to roll his attack with disadvantage too?
Yes, but that's fine. His attack didn't make it. Okay, cool. So with disadvantage, he still gets it. So his Constitution, he is good. Go ahead and remove the thing from him. Let's go to map layer here.
Go, buddy. I'll take it off.
Layer, map layer. Trying to move some of this stuff out of the way.
I see what you're doing. Okay. So, yeah. He's just gonna hang out.
Okay, now it's been Venfina's turn.
If he teleported, would that activate a reaction?
No, but he...
I'm just saying for future.
For future, I'd have to. I don't think so, but I'd have to look to see what the rules say. I don't think so.
Whatever.
Because it's an instantaneous... If you're walking away, that's like turning your back on an enemy and they're going to slash at you.
Okay.
Okay, what's Venfina doing? You have your crossbow out still?
I surely do.
Alright, what you doing?
Do I have a clear shot at the little guy causing issues?
From Vidax's perspective, if you move forward a little bit, yes. You'd be able to see him.
Okay, then I shimmy forward and I'm going to shoot.
Okay. Roll your attack.
I have a crossbow.
A natural 20 definitely hits. Roll for damage.
So nice.
So as you kind of feel Vidax and how he says, I'm not feeling so good, and then you see him kind of faltering a little bit. You kind of shake with indignant fury with your paladin-like ways.
Sure.
No pacifism.
Yep.
And you also get, not that it really matters because he is dead, you can also roll, because there are people in proximity, you can roll your sneak attack damage.
It's not in proximity to me. It has to be within 5 feet.
Is it for melee or just because this guy is within 5 feet of your enemy that you're attacking? The idea is that your friend is distracting them, and then you take a sneak attack at them. Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure it still
So
applies to
you don't
ranged
need
attacks.
advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it. That enemy isn't
Vidax counts as that.
incapacitated.
So Vidax and Tiger Lily both. So you could do sneak attack. Either way, as you kind of roll back this crossbow, you fire the crossbow, and this just large. It's like shooting an ant with a ballista. You just see this the frog itself. He's kind of floating. He's going up for another attack, and he puts his arms up to stab at the dog. And your crossbow bolt just rips him in half, blows a hole in him. He falls to the ground.
Yep.
You hear him.
That's what
Life.
he gets.
Exits his body.
Alright, well, for my second attack, I will aim at this guy.
Okay, this one does not have advantage, so no sneak attack.
Actually, maybe I'm going to aim over here.
Okay, you can see him from where you're at.
Okay.
I'm trying to yell while stunned. Hey!
Would
It's
I
that
get
song
a
with
sneak
the
attack on-
hey.
Would I get a sneak attack on this
Which one?
if I shoot over
Yes,
here?
because Mushroob is in proximity.
Okay, crossbow, don't do me wrong.
It's once per turn that you can do the sneak attack damage, right?
Yeah. Heavy crossbow.
24 hits, 7 piercing damage. Roll your
Me-
damage as well.
I think it's a 1d6.
I think that sounds correct.
1d6.
And you can do it once per
Nice.
round. Bonus 5. Okay.
12 piercing.
12 piercing damage. So as this grung is kind of sitting there and he's laughing your direction, Clan, and you're kind of seeing in this haze, water splashes as the crossbow bolt hits him in the back. Water kind of eviscerates, and he kind of looks around wildly.
Exactly.
The other grung, since he's going to use his movement to move up here to Vidax, and he is going to attack using pulling out another dagger. Shink. He's going to stab him.
Gonna shake.
Melee is a 22 hit.
Thinking about.
That's
Ooh.
7 piercing damage against Vidax.
Oh, that guy snuck up real quick. Vidax. Where's your thing? Oh, a 20. What did you say?
That is going to be 22 is the attack.
Oh, yeah, of course that is.
That's 7 piercing damage, and he needs to make a DC saving throw of 12.
Okay.
Because as he's stabbing him, he basically runs his arm right across Vidax's face,
So, first and foremost,
leaving the slimy, gross poisonousness on him.
green circle is the health now, right?
Green circle is the health, yes.
Okay, so I think it's supposed to be. I can't edit his. It's supposed to be 22. Minus the 7, so 15 is what his health is supposed to be at. And then I need to do a constitution saving.
Yes, Constitution save.
I got a 13!
13, okay. So with a 13, he does succeed. So he's not poisoned. He's able to kind of shake it off. And let's see, this creature's flying. Okay.
So, yeah, I just can't edit his health to be. What is
Yeah, let's do what?
I can't edit his health.
Okay.
So,
I will
it's
look
just
into
supposed
it.
to be 15 now.
Okay, I fixed it. It's 15. So next, this guy, Grung's done. This other Grung is dead. Okay, so the orange Grung, at this point, you start to feel yourself shake it off. He's going to make a ability check to see if he...
He didn't die.
Roll 1d6. He has to roll a 6 out of the 1d6 to recharge. It does not recharge. So what he is going to do is he's going to take out his dagger again, and he's going to stab Mushrib once again, since he's in melee range. So that is 16 to hit. Mushrib does hit 4, 5, it's 9 damage against Mushrib. Minus 9.
Dude is dead.
And you start to notice, like, Mushrib, when he's with this, as this poison has kind of washed over him, this orange Grung's effect is affecting him differently. He starts to look around, and he's actually looking at Clandon and Roland, and he has a very fearful look in his eyes. Not necessarily for his predicament, but you get the sense that he is fearful of you.
That Musharib is fearful of us?
Correct. You get the sense that the poisonous effects of these grungs has varying effects depending on what type of color they are.
It's becoming delusional.
And this one is affecting him differently than the green one was affecting others. So, it is now Shield Guardian. He's still doing his job. Chilling. Tiger Lily.
He is wasting his opportunities.
This is... Do you want him to let go of the ropes and let the boats go away? He's doing his job. What's Tiger Lily doing?
She's gonna move over here and attack that guy.
Okay. Go ahead and make her claw attack. 6 does not hit. So she kind of swipes upon him, and the grung kind of steps out of the way, and he looks over at her. Does she want to use, let's see, any other movement? Okay. So the other grung by Mushrib, seeing that, let's see real quick, I believe, I'm going to verify that if it's the end of its turn or your turn, because this will be important. 50 feet of the grung, here saves him stunned until the end of the grung's next turn. So you are no longer stunned, so he does not have advantage when he comes up to you, but this grung is going to, the smaller grung is going to come up and try and stab you. Clandon specifically, and at this point our resident Roland is going to do a reaction.
Can he?
He's not stunned either. Both of you are not stunned.
Oh, I didn't know that guy had his turn. Sorry.
Yeah, so that dude finishes his turn, so he's good. He's going to do a spell. The reaction is... what is it? Protection? No, what is it? Oh, never mind. I thought he had a reaction spell for... but I think that's actually... that's Benfina, not him.
For what?
For when someone's attacked when he can see him and he's right by him. Yeah, rebuke for violence.
Yeah, that's me.
That's Benfina. Never mind.
He probably has protection now.
He is going to do... but I'm seeing... Is it a reaction? Give me just a second, I'm pulling it up. Reactions, attack of opportunity, and protection. While wielding a shield and the creature you can see attacks rolls attacks a target other than you within 5 feet, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. So, the grung will have disadvantage when attacking you. And it is going to use its dagger. So disadvantaged, it rolls a 6. And so it kind of comes at you to stab, and you kind of shake it off, the stunning presence, and you're able to slide out of the way as the grung kind of swings past you with this blade. Clandon, it's your turn.
Question. Can I use my nice, animal handling skills to lasso, to create a lasso with my rope? Try to lasso Musharib?
It wouldn't be animal handling, but you could do I think a sleight of hand, maybe? Like a sleight of hand?
Like, cowboy-like style?
Yeah. I'd say sleight of hand, or maybe if you want to stretch it, survival, because it's kind of like, a survivalist type thing.
Alright, we're gonna do survival. I'm down for survival. Would that be a bonus, or would that be my action?
That would be an action if you're wanting to try and throw and lasso someone, because it's essentially 6 seconds is how long a single round or a single person's turn takes. Or the round is 6 seconds, and then yeah.
He's above water, right?
He is above water, but he's starting to looking your guys' direction. He's not treading water one way or the other. He's just kind of.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna attack. Okay. Seeing like the state the Musha lives in, I'm gonna call upon my Planet Warrior power, and I start to feel the power and tattoo my back, and I'm going to mark this guy.
Okay.
Mr. Orangehead here.
Okay.
Mr. Orangehead.
Mr. Orangehead. So go ahead, and he is marked.
And I'm using my longbow.
I'll just use the red dot to say he's marked. Longbow, okay. The first attack does not hit, but the second one does. Yep, 13, yep, okay. 5 piercing damage, got it. And then that's plus your, there you go. So that's going to be 9 total. Alright, so you, as you kind of feel this, you feel your vision blurring from being stunned, and you see it start to focus, and you feel that energy start to exude, and you see like this clear outline of this creature in the water as it's treading, and as you do, you fire and get a pot shot in on it. It looks at you, and again, it's being shot from kind of 2 different directions, so it's kind of looking back and forth, looks back at you and sneers, and holds the knife to Mishrub's neck. Alright, the next grung, he's going to come from the north, and he's going to run past the Shield Guardian. The Shield Guardian is going to get an opportunity of attack because he walked past it. So Vorn, he's going to make an attack with his fist. 19, and it does 10 bludgeoning damage. So as this frog kind of runs past, Vorn takes one of its arms that's not quite tied up all the way and just bops it on the head, just boom! And like you see its head just like crunch into its shoulders. And it
Good job, Vorn!
barely holding on. And it's going to continue its quest walking forward to about here, and it's going to throw its dagger at you, Clandon. So this is at disadvantage, I believe. No, the reaction can only happen once per round, so he's going to use this. He throws it. It is a 11.
No,
Does not hit. So you see it, and it just kind of whiffs past, and ting, ting, ting. His vision's very blurred at this point from being bopped on the head. Aurora, it's your turn. Okay. Okay. Which one are you trying to shoot? This guy or this guy? The yellow guy? Okay. Go for it.
Do I need to do sharpshooter if I yellow dude?
Only if you want the extra damage. Sharpshooter's always in effect unless you want the extra damage. So you ignore cover on every shot. Okay, 13. That hits. Roll for damage. And was that a sharpshooter you said, or no?
No.
Okay, so that's 7 piercing damage. Got it. You hear me?
Nope, that doesn't hit.
That second one does not hit, so you see it kind of ting 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 clatters past as this other frog up here is just kind of like flopping around and walking forward dazed. Alright, do you have any movement?
No.
Alright, Roland's turn. Roland looking at this, he's gonna step forward and use his attack. Roland. Oh, yep, that's the one. Okay. He's going to step forward, and he is going to use his Lightbringer to attack. And it's 21. Roll for damage. 10 bludgeoning damage. So at this point, this grung that's kind of coming forward and slashing at you, Clandon, you just see Roland kind of run right up to him, shield bash him backwards, and then just come down and whack, smacks it on the head, and you see it just splatter. You see it as the soft, mushy top of its head caves in.
Gross.
0.
Nice roll.
And I have your back. He's dead. Boop. Vidax, followed by Ventina.
Oh, Vidax. He's not poisoned currently?
No, he's not currently poisoned, but he could be if he touches things.
Okay, I'm gonna have him do a teleport. Before he does, he can do a bite attack.
Okay, the teleport, did he recharge it?
I have to roll.
It usually will say if it's a recharge on it.
It is.
What's the roll?
4 or 6. So do I roll?
So it has to roll a 6 if it's you roll a d6, and it has to be a 4 or above. Okay, it recharges. Okay, so it can do a bite attack. Go ahead and roll its bite attack, and then he can do his teleport. Bite 14 does it does hit. Roll for damage, and then do a Constitution save. 2 piercing damage. Got it.
Waste.
Roll his Constitution 5. He is currently poisoned, so he bites onto it and latches, and then he feels that kind of sickening again. Where is he teleporting to?
To me.
Okay, so he flinks out of distance. The grung that he just bit kind of swings out at him and doesn't quite catch anything.
Oh, sorry, Tiger Lily.
Next, let's close that.
It's me.
It's Venfina's turn. Yep.
So I'm gonna do lay on hands.
Okay.
Is that an action or is it a bonus?
Does it show in your?
Lay on hands is an action. Never mind. He'll be okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot my crossbow at the demon frog that was attacking them.
Okay. Go ahead. Make your attack. 25. It hits. Roll for damage.
What is with my crossbow?
You guys are hitting hard today.
We are done.
4. Okay,
And
so
that's a
this.
sneak attack as well because Tiger Lily's right
Yep.
there.
Tiger Lily's right there.
Oh, but if I don't need it, then if he's dead.
He's dead. So at this point, as you kind of fire through him, you see another. He kind of croaks, and then just you pop.
Croaks.
He unintentional pun. His throat kind of bellows out as he's gonna kind of let out another roar, and your arrow just crossbow goes right through, and you see as it comes out the other side something important left with it.
What is that supposed to mean? Like his
It's
tongue?
I don't know, like his throat, his soul. I don't know, something.
His eyeballs?
Chunks of flesh, not like a plot device, just
Yeah.
death
not a hidden
death animations.
message.
No,
Okay.
just a death animation.
I'm gonna shoot at.
I'm leaving the frog anatomy to your
Okay.
imagination because I have no idea what would come out other than his
Okay,
throat.
so this one I'd like to do the sneak attack on. So I'm gonna turn
Okay.
and release another crossbow.
Hits. Roll for damage. Which one are you hitting? The orange one or the
Yeah.
green?
The pesky.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay, so
Nice.
another one hits him again, and at this point he's.
God, this guy's got some help.
A little extra.
All right, so now it's the grung's turn. He's going
Did you
to
get
roll
the extra?
the extra 3 damage. No, I did not. Let me put it in there. He continues.
Dang, snapper.
He's going to see if he recharges his croak. Roll 1d6. If he rolls a 6, it's successful. If he rolls a 3, he does not succeed.
Nope.
And so, yeah, that's the thing that stunned everybody. But at this point, leaving Mushrib, because at this point Mushrib is just fearful. He's not being much help of anybody. He's going to step forward to Clandon, and he's going to swing it or slice it, Clandon, with his dagger. If it hits, I need you to make a Constitution save.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Buckshot rib.
Jeez! So it's 7, 8, it's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 18 damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ugh.
Actually, you're already poisoned. Yes, so you're already poisoned, so we're going to roll for a disease table.
Ugh.
Disease table. I need you to roll me a D100, please.
D100.
Yep.
That doesn't sound good.
Man, basically.
Basically, whatever the D100 spits out, you'll have a certain disease. 36. Let's see what we got on the table.
Oh, man.
Brilliant urine disease.
Oh.
You
Wait,
get dehydrated. You get dehydrated twice as quickly as usual, and your urine glows neon yellow, brightly
Yes!
enough that a pint of glass would substitute for a torch. Spread through heavy pollen.
Wait, can I not Constitution roll on this?
That's what the Constitution rule was it not? You're poisoned. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll the Constitution check. I thought you already rolled it. I apologize. Roll the Constitution. If you succeed, you do not get this. But you have disadvantage, so you fail. So you have neon pea disease.
No, you got it too.
So write that down.
Wait,
Brilliant
let's go
urine
to the
disease.
cave while I have it. How long do diseases last?
Until you get them, you have to do a
Somebody heals you.
either someone heals you or a lesser restoration or one of your resident paladins.
We'll help you out.
See, Clandon.
Well, if you need some light.
So you're
Let me
feeling
know.
a little quoozy. Let's see. Were you poisoned? Were you poisoned
I
by
was
the orange one
poisoned,
or the green one?
Yeah. I think the orange one. I'm not sure.
I think it was the green one, but I might be wrong. If it's the,
I don't know how I got poisoned.
I think it was the green one. Now, when I'm looking at it, I think it was the green one. And with the green ones, this is not that you've moved or anything, but you can't move except to climb or make standing jumps. So you basically you're a frog. You can't walk. So yeah, all of your checks need to be against how far you can actually do a standing leap, if that makes sense, for your movement.
All right.
Until this poison is resolved. All right, so that's his attack, and he kind of looks at you and he says,
You should pee on him.
Yeah.
That's perfect. By the way, this is where we're pulling that from, just for future reference. And it's not 5e specific. It's not actually. It's a made-up table that is in there, but it just makes things a little more fun. Tiger Lily, it is her turn.
She's gonna hold her action.
Okay. So what is the trigger?
I get attacked.
Okay, so if you get attacked, she's gonna hold her action. Got it. All right, and next it's gonna be Clandon. It is your turn.
All right.
Mushrib,
That wasn't his turn.
for whatever reason, I don't know how he fell off the board, but he's gonna start swimming a little bit further out into the water for his.
What?
He's afraid of Roland and everything else.
That makes sense. Okay.
Let's see. Is this guy too close now for bow?
Yes, you would be at a disadvantage if you're trying to make a ranged attack.
I'm already at disadvantage.
Yeah. So, yeah, it would
Double
just be the same.
Just don't even try.
Roll 4 times, and the worst one is what you get. Law of averages. No, it'll just be regular disadvantage. So if you shoot the bow, it would be disadvantage. If you hit him with the thing, a melee weapon, it would be disadvantage either way.
Okay.
You pee on him.
So I've. If it did damage, it was like hot.
Molten urine.
Just distract him.
Ooh. Kidney stones.
No, I've kept the plan out warrior going,
Okay.
and but this time I'm gonna pull out my my longsword.
Okay. So you quickly throw the bow over your shoulder and draw your sword. Make your attack. So you swing at him, 10 misses. So you kind of whiff at him and he kind of ducks under it and he's... Second one, come back, 10 misses again. So you kind of swinging. It's the movement.
How does that work? I thought it was. How come
So-
one time it's the left side and one time it's the right side?
So disadvantage is the lower number of the two. You just roll twice, so you take the lower. If it's at advantage, it takes the higher number of the two.
Hate this.
So you kind of whiff, and
Can
part
I
of it's
get a
because
constitution?
Yes, you do get a Constitution saving throw as you're kind of swinging at him, and you're trying to attack him. And
I don't.
You got really.
Jeez.
I'm gonna. This is.
So when you're trying to swing at him, you notice your legs aren't moving the way you would expect. There's like this interference, and so you're starting to hop as you're trying to swing at him, and it's taking you off guard.
You can say that again.
All right, so
Okay, hold on.
What's going on?
So for poison, it says poison creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. Does a saving throw count as ability check?
No, it's not. That's a saving throw. So you did succeed on your saving throw. So you succeeded. You are correct. So let's get rid of the poison.
Ooh-wee.
Poof. So now you no longer have hopping stuff, but you still have neon pea disease.
Yes, I still got the neon pea.
All right. So and basically and so everyone understands the rules behind that is if you are poisoned when you are like if there was a second of poison is trying to be applied on top of that poison, that's when these diseases come into play.
Interesting.
Just for fun.
Now, about this brilliant urine disease, does brightness fade over time?
Oh god.
It says a substitute for heavy torch, so I'd say it would last as long as a torch or longer, which is like 12 hours.
I'm gonna use one of these.
That totally works. I mean, I would say at least maybe 40 hours to a week that should last. You don't know. You haven't tried. We'll have to see how dehydrated you are. The more dehydrated you are, the more glowy it gets. But obviously, the more exhaustion you get. So there's a price.
Got it.
You could profit off it if you want, I guess. All right, the other grung above you, the one that's barely holding on, is going to come running at you, and he is going to try and attack you from the side. Roland's going to impose disadvantage with his shield because he has not done this turn. Because I forgot, and melee.
Oh, don't hit. Oh, no!
Jeez. Holy freak. What the heck? They don't like you at all.
I think that might give me
Christmas, man. Alright, so that's 6, 7,
20,
15, 20. That is 20 points of damage. You guys see as the grung attacks, as Clandon, you see him kind of stutter step for a second, and then he falls face first into the mud. And he's unconscious.
Yeah, he is.
Aurora, you see this transpiring across the way. You see Clandon fall.
In the urines.
Whoa, wait. Stop. I rescind that because he was imposing disadvantage. He rolled a 7, so you are alive.
What?
Put those
Wait,
points
what?
back. Remember Roland, I said Roland hadn't done his shield
yeah.
reaction, so you're okay. You're still
Don't
up.
scare me!
So Aurora, you play this out in your mind that he's going to fall over and die, but he doesn't actually do it. You shoot from sharpshooter, nice. So that's going to extra 10 damage. Was that 10 damage off the top? 15! Holy
Thank
crap.
you!
Which one are you hitting?
The stupid one.
The orange one? Okay. So you shoot, and as you see this kind of warrior, he's kind of like dodging back and forth. He thinks that he's kind of got the upper hand here, and he goes in, and as he's going in, Aurora just looses an arrow. And you see this familiar goose feather arrow just right in the side of his head, and you see him kind of seize up really tightly, and then start twitching and fall to the ground. He's dead.
Drowning.
Boop. Alright, he's dead.
That guy was tough!
Second one rolls and it hits. Jeez, overkill. You see a little thing come up above his head that says overkill as this arrow it hits him, and it hits him with such force he just turns to dust.
The other guy?
Because you hit him for more than his total health. That was considered massive damage. So that last grung also just completely falls lifeless. You see this arrow hit, and it takes it 3-4 feet back onto the shore and just hits the ground.
Good.
He's dead. And at this point, everyone is good. Mushrib's going to make a save against the poison to see if he can shake it off. Mushrib. He is breathing pretty heavily. And... Oh, by the way, the other thing that was happening earlier for the con save, make me another con save, Clandon, for the water.
Oh gosh.
For the yellow water?
For the water that you swallowed when you hit the water when you fell in. Okay, so over the next couple days, you're going to notice some throat leeches start causing you trouble. So you have throat leeches and neon pee. I'm sorry. You're like having all the best luck with the diseases today, dude. I don't know what's going on there. You see, again, as these things start floating, Mushrib is able to kind of shake off this sickness, so he starts paddling to shore. He grabs the boat. Whoops, he's not dead. He grabs the boat, kind of holding his side, and slides it to the shore, breathing very heavily, just trying to just get his wind back under him. Roland, seeing that he's kind of hurt, he's going to give him... how many is it to get rid of?
A disease?
A disease is a 5? He'll turn to Clandon, and Clandon will be like, are you okay?
I haven't peed yet, but my throat is kind
I don't know
of...
how you know. So you would be starting to exhibit the some of the signs of that throat leeches. So that would be one that you are familiar with.
Well, we could like detect disease.
Urine. I don't know how you would like to detect the disease on it. I don't know. But okay, so he'll turn.
Whoa! What is going on? As I go to the restroom.
He'll use 5 points to get rid of the throat leeches. And then Mushrib, he's going to use...
Poison and disease is a spell I have.
Okay, so if you use that, then you could see it. But remember, don't cross player knowledge with character knowledge. That's metagaming. Roland.
Oh, what
I'll meta your game.
For healing Clandon.
I wouldn't do anything about it because
5
I don't know
points.
anything about it.
Removing disease from Clandon.
Come on, let's let him keep his diseases for
And another, let's
I got
say
a
another
P1.
5 hit points
I know,
for
these-
I'm gonna like get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and then like light up the forest. And...
Hey, where'd Clandon go? And all of a sudden you see like fireflies in the distance. Ping! And you see his silhouette. Because it's like torchlight. It's a radius of 30 feet.
That's funny. Just pee as you
Everywhere you go, you cannot be stealthy. You've got.
I'm gonna make a circle around the camp.
Oh my god.
If he ends up, if you're so scared of something, if you ever have the fear effect, then your pants will glow.
So
+5.
funny.
That's hilarious. All right, so Mushrib, you guys are able to get your kind of stuff underneath, out of the water. You catch your breath for a second. What are you doing?
Peeing our pants.
Making camp.
Okay, you want to break camp. So which side of the river do you want to break camp on, north or south?
Hold on. What time is it and how far are we from...
You're about a day's travel from Port Nanzru.
And what time is it?
Currently, you're looking at pushing probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, let's keep going. I'm not
What time
that
do you
exhausted.
If you wanted to go through the night, you could get there before the next morning. If you wanted to push through the night.
I say, let's go.
Also, let's see how this
Yeah,
works.
I'm down to push through. I just want to get back at this point.
All right, and so upon looking at these frogs, there's no loot. There's no. I have a button here that's really fancy that I can click to do a random RNG table for loot drops. There's nothing of interest on them. There's no coins or anything. So you guys are able to make it through, and you continue having Vorn. You do have to spend a little bit of time, about 30 minutes, trying to get the Shield Guardian kind of break away some of these brambles and things that are holding him in place. You're what?
I said none of them had magic wands or anything.
Nope. Nope,
Dang.
nothing on those guys. Random loot table.
They suck.
Right. So those guys, but you do get the sense that again, this hostile landscape, things are generally fostered just to survive and assert dominance. You get the sense again from what Musharib had said. He gives you a little more context on these creatures, letting you know that these grungs, they're tribal. They usually are tree-dwelling amphibians. They have castes based on their colors. They're aggressive. And they are very dependent on water. So usually where there's water, you're going to find a tribe of grungs somewhere along that water.
Musharib, how can we prevent them from attacking us again?
Well, we must be more stealthy, I suppose. But it's
Can we like smear their blood on our canoes or something?
well, they're not like the bugs that you can keep
Ward
away.
them?
Speaking of which, go ahead and mark off that you've used some of the bug repellent.
Yeah, I did.
Mark off days worth or whatever if
Do
you
we
haven't
need to
already.
bug repel our animals?
Yes.
Okay. then
That would
I'll
count as
mark
another
off
use.
several.
They're intelligent creatures just like the bacteria, and if you get too close, then they may become aggravated by your presence and try and evict you from their territory. There's not much you can do aside from just being prepared at all times for these kind of attacks. There's other things that lie in these waters, and I would be very, very wary to spend as much time as we can out of the water. As much as proper, and he kind of stamps his feet on the ground. He's like, I'm the type that I must prefer a good solid ground on my hand under my feet, preferably stone, but it is what it is. We do what we must.
At this point, we don't have much option as far as getting back to the port, right?
Nope. You could go on foot through the forest. It's not too terribly far,
Longer, though, right?
but it does take you longer to go if you're trying to cut through the forest, because the forest is very thick. You've got vines, you've got trees, stumps, just tons of stuff.
I just say we continue as we go.
Okay.
Let's just hope that luck is on our side.
All right. So you guys assemble back in your boats.
And I say a little prayer to Tamora?
Tamora's the god of luck. Did you change yours to the god of luck?
No, but I can still pray to a lucky
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, you can. If you want to say a prayer to Tamora, your goddess is a little
yeah.
jealous, but no, just kidding. Okay.
No, I'm going to definitely pray to my god too for some medicine and healing.
All right. So you feel that your prayers heard.
There's a lot of poison.
Your prayers heard, and you feel the need for extreme caution. So Vorn goes ahead.
I'm gonna drink some water.
I'm a little thirsty.
Feel really
Your
thirsty.
jug.
Suddenly I have to pee all the time. So do mark that down. Remember that whenever we do water checks, Clandon, right now you're doing double the amount of water.
Yep.
Because of what?
Because of his.
So should we say one ration of water is 1 gallon?
Yeah, 1 gallon would be essentially. So you need to drink 2 a day, and so you'd have basically 2 rations worth, and you're going to be drinking both. So if you, it would equate to being like 4 gallons for what you need to
Oh wait,
chug.
so we need 2 gallons every day? I thought we just needed 1. I don't care.
What do we decide? I don't care. We can do either way. What do we want to do? Do we want to do 1 gallon? How much do I typically drink like 1.5 gallons a day myself, like just sitting in the office. So, but
It all depends on our weight.
it depends on your weight.
Divide
Depends on if you're
by
outside.
2.
I'm gonna say probably 2 gallons is appropriate for where
Yep.
you're at, for
fine.
since it's hot and humid. So you're looking at 4 gallons a day to try and make sure that you get
Woo-wee.
without to try not to get exhausted. So, okay. All right, well, let's change the music because we're not fighting anymore.
We're just having an Irish jig.
An Irish jig. Let's go in the nature one. Phew. Yeah, I got a nature playlist. We've got a rainstorm playlist, a cities playlist.
Are we in like
Let's
a
get to the port.
rainforest?
All right, so you guys are going to go through. Vorn goes, and you're able to pull through. You guys pull into the Port Nanzaru. It is quite dark when you get there. It is around 10 o'clock in the evening, pushing 11.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's dark. You see torchlight. There's not a lot of people out in the city. You see the occasional compy running across.
What is a compy?
Compy is the dinosaurs from the second Jurassic Park that eats the little girl with the sandwiches. They're on the beach.
Like tiny-
dinosaurs?
like-
Little tiny ones.
Yeah, tiny raptors.
Tiny raptors. There's little tiny ones, and they're
Okay, yeah.
by themselves. They're not that whatever. But if you get them in
a
flocks,
horde, yeah.
it's like rats. You know, if you got 100 rats attacking you, you're probably gonna be in trouble. You see them just kind of skittering about, and as we close out for this session, you guys see in the distance, as you've kind of been making your way. Make me a round of perception checks.
Passively perceiving?
Sure. Passive perception if you want, or you can do a
Minus 22.
perception roll. Clandon, nothing. You're just enjoying the kind of the cool. As the sun goes down, it's not cold, but it's a little cooler, and you're chugging water like crazy out of that alchemist jug.
I just want to get to the inn and chug some.
So looking, Aurora, what was your passive perception, or if you want to roll for perception, whichever's.
She got a 20.
A 20? Why is it not? Oh, I didn't scroll. That's why I didn't auto scroll. Okay, so Aurora sees it. Venfina sees it. Roland's kind of whatever. Mushrib. He looks off into the distance. He's used to this kind of view, but you notice these little. You guys have all seen Princess Mononoke.
It's been a minute.
The little guys.
The little creepers?
The little guys that are clicking. You see a couple of these little like forest spirits kind of poof. Pop up, and they look around, and they're looking your direction, just kind of doing, just not menacingly, but you get the sense that that it's that this is you're being watched, but not in a malicious way, if that makes sense. Like they see what you're doing, and you get the sense of approval from these forest spirits that are kind of in this area, and you're able to kind of get the boats out of the water and kind of make your way in. Musharib kind of puts his hands to his chin, kind of rubs his chin, kind of seeming deep in thought, and kind of looking at each of you, kind of pensively trying to think and understand back and forth between these forest spirits, and that's where we're going to close it for tonight. We'll continue next time. All right, so let's go to experience.
Woo! What a night!
Let's do Grung. Come on, there we go, Grung. Grung. Alright, so we've got the Elite Warrior was 450 experience by itself. So that's going to be divided by Clandon, Roland, Aurora, and Venfina. 4? Yep.
Do we want to just add it all up?
100?
Yeah, we're going to add it all.
5.
So let's see the Grungs. There were 6 of them. There's 50 experience points per. So that'd be 250 to 300? Is my math right? For 6?
Yeah, if there's 6.
So that's 300 plus the 450. 750 divided by 4 is what the experience is for those. We had some Sturges.
187.5.
Yep.
Should we round up to 188?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have Sturges in there. Give me just 1 second to get Sturge on here. Sturge. And for the various, just give you their gotcha Sturges that you guys have killed throughout. That's another 25 experience points per person for these little tiny beasts that are annoying.
So 210 is what we're up to.
Okay. So that's
Alright.
that's the combat experience. I'll go ahead and give Clandon, because that kind of sucks. You got so many stuff, but you can go ahead and have inspiration because of just getting crapped on. It's consolation prize for taking it in a good stride. And anyone else who doesn't already have inspiration, go ahead and put it in. I think we had some good roleplay. We had some good fun. Roleplay experience, we'll throw in. I'll throw in another 500 experience just for roleplay experience per person. Because, like I said, it did occupy a lot of the time tonight, and it was, but I thought it was good character development. So, and everyone participated. So yeah. All right, that's pretty much it for tonight. So
That's a good night.
yeah, I know Roland's not here.
Yeah.
7th. Do you want to tentatively? What does the 7th work okay for you guys or?
The thing.
Let me check.
Okay. Because I know coming into June-ish area where Becca's got plans to whisk us away in the night
What?
to Arizona.
Creepy.
Creepy.
I don't have anything on my calendar.
Okay. I don't have anything on my calendar. So the 7th, maybe. And if so, I'll put it into the schedule. Oh wait, I didn't realize that was.
I think that's good. Yeah, that's good for us.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I will put it in there. We'll see what he says. But let's tentatively plan for the 7th, and we'll just try and keep that cadence of every 2 weeks. So.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for putting together.
Yeah, no problem, guys.